clutter-free, stress-free environment, so residents can explore safely and feel at home. But what truly sets Terra Vista apart? Personalized care. We take the time to learn each resident's story, where they lived, their routines, former careers, even the names of family members. Anyone who interacts with your loved one can immediately make them feel comfortable and understood. We meet our residents right where they are. Residents stay strong and engaged with multi-sensory activities, music, art, horticulture, our beautiful 18,000 square foot outdoor space, and even a personal trainer. At Terra Vista, residents aren't defined by their dementia. We honor the whole person. Speak to an advisor or schedule a tour today at terravista.org. Again, that's terravista.org, and tell them AM 560 sent you.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I just want to get this straight. The government is shut down. You can't get water for the Iranian war. TSA agents can't get paid. And you took a $200 billion ride to go around the moon? Who the frick is running things? We'll discuss that and so much more after news with Patrick Johnson.
Good afternoon. Middle 60s in Chicago on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Patrick Johnson in the QC Kinetics newsroom, looking at rainy and stormy conditions for the balance of the afternoon and evening, and even into the overnight. Some of the weather could be severe. Mayor Brandon Johnson says the city is investing $300 million in affordable housing across Chicago.
With this major investment in Chicago, one that will truly bring stability, opportunities, and hope to thousands of Chicagoans across our city.
Johnson says most of the developments will be on the south and west sides. The projects will get underway within the next 18 months. Lawmakers questioning multiple university leaders in Illinois about a contentious bill that adjusts how new money is allocated to in-state public universities.
Each school would get a specific percentage of new funds, with priority given to universities that are most in need each year. University of Illinois System President Tim Killeen, whose schools are by far the highest publicly funded in the state, expressed strong opposition to the proposal.
There is no number that doesn't kind of in a way negatively affect the University of Illinois system.
Nicholas Jones, the executive vice president of the system, added that they would receive smaller increases to yearly funding than they have previously. Leadership from Western and Northern Illinois universities spoke in strong support of the bill, saying it would ease the burden of tuition and fees for students statewide. I'm Shaun Reed.
News, the service of American Beam and Steel Structural Repair licensed contractors for your home and business. Search for American Beam and Steel online to schedule your consultation directly with the owner, Mark. American Beam and Steel. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat. This hour is service of Access One Business IT Services and Support.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report. A volatile trading session with stocks gaining steam in the final 10 minutes of trading and ending mixed on the last trading day of the holiday-shortened week after President Trump toughened his tone about the Iranian conflict. Stocks pairing from bigger earlier losses on Strait of Hormuz, reopening hopes. However, a surge in oil prices is fueling inflation fears, with U.S. crude spiking to over $111 a barrel, its highest level since June of 2022. Tech was the best performer among the S&P 500 sectors, while healthcare and consumer discretionary lagged. The Magnificent Seven big cap tech stocks were mixed but up sharply for the week. The Dow winners IBM, Goldman Sachs, and Microsoft. The Dow decliners Caterpillar, Home Depot, and Sherwin-Williams. The Dow falling 61 points, the Nasdaq up 38, S&P 500 up 7. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Catch more money with leading economist Steve Moore.
I'm excited about America. I think things are going really well. I think we've turned a corner here. I think Biden economics is well behind us now. This is a miracle what's going on here. If anything, it's better than I thought it would be. So many good things can happen in the economy. Low inflation, low unemployment rate, consumer confidence up, business confidence up. All of the indicators are pointing north right now.
It's More Money, Saturday at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
Hey, sorry to hear your mom passed away.
Thanks.
A lot of work to do settling her assets?
Actually, she prepared a living trust. Makes this process simple.
Yeah, I set up a will for my kids. Should make it easy.
Well, unless your assets are small, your kids will have to go to court to settle your will.
So, where do I get a living trust?
Nauman and Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee. No surprises.
Nauman and Associates in Elk Grove Village?
That's right. NALawGroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The inbound Eisenhower entrance ramp from Mannheim still closed with a jackknife semi, 50 minutes going in, 45 going out. Now the outbound Kennedy has the exit ramp to northbound Mannheim closed, all due to flooding, 45 minutes. Jane Byrne interchange out to O'Hare with an accident, inbound at Lawrence an hour in. Eden Spur solid town line to the Tri-State. Going outbound on the Stevenson, 1 hour to 3:55, crash at Damon blocking 2 right lanes. Outbound Ryan, 35 minutes. Express has a stall in the right lane at Pershing. Very heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State both directions. Delays westbound Jane Addams. Vehicle spun out right near the Kishwaukee River Bridge. Other tollways, though, not too bad. Traffic is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 47. On Friday, expect a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a shower later in the afternoon. The high will reach 59 degrees. Friday night will not be as cold with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. The low will be 43, but temperatures will rise into the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
I love how fast things have changed. I mean, I absolutely love it. First of all, as you know, if you listen to the show, I never believed Joe Biden was anything other than a traitor. His entire Senate career reaped and steeped in scandal and fraud and misappropriation. There's a few real mafia areas, and Illinois, in my opinion, always is going to be first. And then you got New York, you got New Jersey, you got Philly, and that whole area, that whole region. You got some different areas on the East Coast, but Delaware, that entire fracking state is a fraud. The entire state is a financial fraud and crime. And the whole reason people put their LLCs in Delaware is because that's where the mafia likes to hub their entities that can never be breached and never pay taxes. So that's why Joe Biden is what he is. He's always been a fraud and a liar and a snake. But when he stole the election, it was amazing to watch the media step in line. I mean, you never, in the history of this country, there has never been a more unfit moron in anything. And that is saying something. If you've ever been to any government building in Chirac or Crook County.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin.
Oh, and he didn't know. It was somebody standing there with a big cue card that said, moron, it's not Putin. And then all of the nonsense that went on. This is how you knew, beyond the shadow of a doubt, these foreign policies. And by the way, this is when the numbers came out. $14 trillion. $14 trillion in foreign policy money spent by us pigeons to these ungrateful bastards called Europeans and so-called allies.
No one can join NATO while a war is
right
going
here,
on.
NATO. Right
where
here.
a NATO nation is being attacked, because that guarantees that we're in a war, and we're in a third world war. So that it's not about whether or not they should or shouldn't join. It's about when they can join. Putin's already lost the war. Putin has a real problem. How does he move from here? What does he do? He could end the war tomorrow. He could just say, I'm out. But what agreement is ultimately reached depends.
And at that time, we were 2 months in. Since then, there are hundreds of billions that the Ukrainian upper echelon of the government, from Zelensky...
President Zelensky is under fire for corruption. A new report says he embezzled the aid money. It was released by an American investigative journalist, Seymour Hersh. He says Zelensky and his team have embezzled about $400 million.
That was right after that speech by the dimwit in diapers. Right after. And through the years, the money...
The wife of a Ukrainian politician has been caught allegedly smuggling $28 million and 1.3 million euros in cash. Anastasia Kodzitska was caught by the authorities in neighboring Hungary carrying cash stashed in
And the media
suitcases.
said every time there were questions about funding the so-called war between the Soviet Union regions, the media just stepped and they fetched. Even though on this station, my show and other shows, people were saying, are you looking at this frickin' idiot?
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shanga Kawawa.
Exactly, you stupid son of a dog. And when it came to that green energy bulldung, even though I know, of course oil can't pollute the planet. It's from the planet. Your argument is it organic or is it abiotic? But one thing's for sure, it's from the ocean floor. It's from the ground. It can never hurt the earth. Never. But they made a fortune doing it. And they shut up. Even Al Gore. Shut your mouth. Get your chakra pulled on, scumbag. When Joe Biden perpetrated the greatest ecological disaster the world has ever seen.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do that.
He sent mercenaries off the books, the ones that George W. Bush created, where they could hire mercenaries. You remember all that? They hire the mercenaries do it. That's how they also fought the war. That's even the excuse for why the billions are missing. They hired an army. And not a media personality said anything. Which is more indication whenever the media tells you something, and I mean whenever the media tells you something, you must question every single agenda. So when I saw this fracking rocket, this poppycock, this nonsense, and don't get me wrong, nobody was a bigger James T. Kirk fan than me.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new...
Oh, very interesting. I used to run home. Ma, is Star Trek on? Yeah, come on in. All the kids watch it. We loved it. We bought that nonsense hook, line, and sinker, every one of us. And then even the storylines and the drama and the enemies of James T. Kirk and the USS Enterprise. It almost made me not want to drive my Cordoba, endorsed by Khan, also known as Ricardo Montalban. Fantastic actor, heterosexual. Last time we had those actors who were heterosexual. And now I have to listen about, well, what's the mission? What are you doing with Artemis? 200 billion, big rocket. Got guys packed in there. Where are you guys going? What are you doing? We're going to go for a ride. Oh, you're going to go for a ride. Where are you going to go? We're going to go around the moon. It's going to cost $200 billion, and you can't pay the TSA agent. The government's been shut down for months. The national debt, $40 trillion. We're paying $1 trillion in interest. And you morons are going for a ride?
I'm not complaining. These launches are amazing to watch, to hear, and in many cases to feel. The SLS.
So watch an episode of Star Trek.
Rocket is so powerful that you could feel the vibrations in your chest as the rocket lifted off the pad and went tearing through the sky, and the flame.
What's wrong with this guy? Buddy, you sound a little light in the loafers. Are you all right?
Flames shooting out of it were as bright as the sun. It was absolutely incredible. It was a bumpy countdown, as countdowns often are. They're very dynamic processes. They'd actually make a good TV drama where you have these.
That got me thinking. You know, Dan makes fun of me. I never bought that 1969. I'm sorry. Never bought it. Especially when Nixon picked up the phone. I would like to talk to the spaceship. No satellites. We had no satellites. I want to talk to those guys. One giant leap for... Oh, really? What a great episode. What a great episode, I believe it was. And then, I didn't buy it. I'm sorry, and the people get mad at me. I don't buy a word of it. Who told it to you? Tricky Dick Nixon. Oh, yeah. Because if he's known for one thing, it's the truth. Not to mention the entire CIA and everything. And how much money we spent on that? See, back then it was an issue, too, about money. And nobody questioned a thing. After all, it makes for a great TV drama.
Engineers discovering a problem, and you have to solve it during that episode, sometimes with launch just minutes away. That's exactly...
Oh, I still like Elementary. I like it. It's the new version of Sherlock Holmes. And during the episode, they catch that son of a gun every time. So what was the problem with Artemis? Was it the Houston, we got a problem button? Did that not work?
What happened during this launch? During the final 2 hours, they had to resolve several issues. There was a issue with the launch abort system. They were getting a high temperature reading on one of the batteries. They determined it was just a problem with one of the instruments.
Yeah, great. Who was starring in that film? Now, this also this works simultaneously with a lot of information that's been coming out over the last couple of years. You know the information I'm talking about. The information of Area 51 and aliens and all kinds of nonsense. So this is going on. And here comes a little testimony from one Matt Gaetz on a podcast. And this isn't Matt Gaetz you're going to hear. This is now a sitting congressman who I personally like. Walks around with a Carhartt jacket on like he actually did a day's work. His name is Tim Burchett. He's got a little bit of that Southern hillbilly accent. I like it. Big fan. And I found this very interesting. And I know 99.9% of you never heard this.
Former colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication.
Let's put a pin in that for just a minute. This is good news for a lot of the Biden-Harris voters. You ugly, fat women. Looks like the aliens. You might get a shot with them.
Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans.
Do you imagine this, Squirrel? You survive a Ukrainian bomb. You're laying there all mangled. Your pants are blown off. And somebody looks at you and said, we're going to mate you with an alien. What?
Of migrants.
All right. I mean, you know, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering,
This is News Nation. I forget the guy's name, but we'll get it for you. Listen to the host of the news show when Tim Burnett answers. It's absolutely priceless.
Kind of how you react to that, because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
So wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue?
I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, and it would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would.
This is a sitting congressman, and nobody is talking about it. We're talking about Artemis, $200 billion. Nobody's asking any fracking questions. Apparently, they're already banging our ugly people and war hero survivors.
They would demand answers, and we need to. But it's never going to get. Unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up, and the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal, and I don't take risks.
I just want you to maybe give it a little consideration rather than buying the story of a poorly written episode of Star Trek, at least in Star Trek. James T. Kirk, he liked breeding with the aliens, too, even if they were green.
It's not the battery itself. And then there was another issue that they had to investigate, the flight termination system, a communications problem with it.
Yeah. Was there a communications problem with Richard Nixon calling from a landline to talk to a spaceship that was allegedly on the moon? 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Your home or business has storm damage and you have an insurance claim.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters. Today, insurance companies are notorious for offering way too little money to repair damage to your home or commercial building due to wind, hail, tornado, floods, or fire. Crosscom works for you, not the insurance company. As licensed adjusters, Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. After they get you the fair insurance company result, Crosscom can start doing your repairs. Crosscom is a full construction and restoration company that will get your property back to its pre-loss condition, getting your life back to normal. Roof, siding, windows, doors, fire restoration, Crosscom does it all.
Call Crosscom.
Licensed in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin.
This is Dan Leitz with Crosscom. We share your conservative and Christian values. Let us handle everything. It all starts with a call.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. President Trump is on the cusp of a historic achievement. If the president oversees the toppling of the ruling regime of the Islamic Republic of Iran, his achievements will rank with the greatest of those of any post-World War II president. That's just an objective fact. If you don't understand that fact, you have not been paying attention for more than 40 years. Iran is as evil a regime as exists on the planet. It is run by religious fanatics with a peculiar theology, rooted in end-times eschatology and resistance, up to and especially including martyrdom. It cannot be allowed to have weapons of mass destruction or even an arsenal of conventional weapons sufficient to deter normal regimes from stopping it from obtaining WMD, especially obtaining nuclear weapons. The result needed in the war has not yet been achieved. But if President Trump delivers it, only his critics incapable of basic objectivity will deny the significance of his order to take down the regime that has bedeviled the world for almost a half-century.
Hey there, Chicagoland. I'm Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. If selling your house has even crossed your mind lately, here's what you need to know. You have options, and it doesn't have to be complicated. For nearly 20 years, our local, veteran-led team has helped Chicagoland homeowners sell their houses the simple way. No repairs needed, no cleanout required, no showings, and no open houses. Here's how simple it is. First, give us a call and share some basic details about your house. We'll set up an appointment that fits your schedule. One of our home buying specialists will visit your property and provide a straightforward, no-obligation cash offer. If it works for you, pick your closing date. Fast or flexible, your choice. Hundreds of your neighbors have given us 5-star Google reviews, and we're proud to hold an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're downsizing, relocating, or just ready for something different, we are here for you. Call 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
We have a clip that was on, and I don't watch a lot of TV, and I certainly don't watch a lot of shows. But there was a clip. Oh, careful now. There was a clip to Tarville. Was it Tarville? I'll find it. It's from Gutfeld. It's a fantastic cut. But let's go to the lines here. George in Naperville.
Shaun, do you think it's possible that Pritzker's losing all that weight because he's getting too nasty with the aliens?
Even the aliens won't have sex with J.B. Pritzker. His trust fund billions mean nothing to the aliens. They have their own currency, and it's much stronger than the dollar.
I have a thoughtful question for a change to you. So I don't know what's true, so I try to fill the gaps between the facts with hope and faith that this will work out. It will work out effectively because I have faith in this country. I have a faith in the president. I'm curious because I don't think you believe you know everything either. You're like me. What do you fill your gaps with? If you don't know the truth, what do you rely upon?
I rely upon reporters who have had long careers in foreign policy, who are based in the region or have excellent sourcing in the region, because as Dana pointed out, you can't really talk to many Iranians at this point.
Who's in there, by the way?
Now, we were able to to find so much of actual history, that proves what the theocracy in Iran is. By the way, when the aliens are looking at Iran, they think of them what Trump thinks of the Somalians. You have low IQ! Because it's a retarded intellect in Iran, especially those theocrats that are killing people and murdering people. So we found a Persian fellow. See, that's how you know somebody's real Iranian. They call themselves Persian. Persian fellow who ran to London, and they stumbled by accident asking him what he thinks of the protests in support of the Ayatollah asshead.
If you let them to be in the power, you are done. You need to run. Absolutely fine. Oh, I just want to tell the truth about Iran. None of them have never been in Iran. I'm Persian. My mom, all my family, 99% of my family, they are still living in Iran. I've been here since I came here 7 years ago. And I know how the murderer regime killed all the people in Iran, and those useless idiots, they don't want to listen to us, to Persian people. You know why? Because they hate Israel.
So Jessica Tarlov and all the other Democrat morons that are putting lipstick on the pig of this theocracy, they do what Jessica does. They just listen to other moron Democrats who cannot run the smallest municipality without being a functioning bankruptcy, riddled in scandal and election theft.
They know Khamenei hate Israel. That's why they love Khamenei. They don't care how Khamenei, less than 3 months ago, killed more than 50,000 people in 2 days. And I can see those people, they are holding the Khamenei picture in their hand, and they are not even Iranian.
Do you think Islamic extremism is on the streets of London?
Listen, they are controlling London. That's why we just try to help people in London. What you're seeing here now, we saw it 50 years ago. Now we ask our grandfather, our parents, why you didn't say anything? And now I can see, because they've been drinking in the pub. They say, oh, diversity, oh, we need to respect, oh, we cannot divide. But in a minute they get to the power, they force you to cover your hair.
Do you see London being under Sharia law?
Of course, it is. Of course, it is. It is by the Sadiq Khan, by Ayatollah Keir Starmer.
And you've lived under Islamic extremism, so you understand.
From London, I'm not living in London anymore because I wasn't safe. 2 days ago, they burned the car in North London because they hang the Persian flag.
So rather than people, and they're going to be critics, there's always critics. Why didn't you start and you didn't talk about Trump's speech in Iran and the blowback from the Democrat mockingbird media attacking him? There's just the fact of what we're dealing with, what we've dealt with, and the success that Donald Trump has done in a very short period of time. There will always be pushback by the people who want to distract you with an agenda that isn't about America succeeding or America proving its values, but it's about the nonsense that you see and hear on TV. So that's why I started the way I did. That, and I'm a big fan of good space drama.
Civilizations to boldly go where no man has gone before.
So Donald Trump boldly went where nobody has gone before, and you got the distraction to ignore the fact that Tim Burchett and Matt Gaetz apparently believe there are Americans and other people around the country mating with aliens.
Former colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
All right. I mean, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how you react to that, because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
So wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious.
Okay. So what happens if the aliens mate with these big, fat Democrat women in the No Kings March? Then we're going to have the whole other class squirrel. This is going to be terrible. Galians. They're going to have to put another color on the rainbow flag. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? How much should you take out and when? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Nolan Webster. Let's work together to make sure your finances meet your unique needs over the long haul. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Call me at 224-801-6107 to schedule an appointment. That's 224-801-6107. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
312-642-5600. When we get back, I'm going to take all of your calls. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you how you can lock your door when you're not home. GoldilocksInc.com. At GoldilocksInc.com, they can take your old home, your old bungalow, your old two-flat, your condo, your retail store, your warehouse, and turn it into a smart property for when the Galians are trying to break in. You can lock your doors. You can monitor your windows. Cameras throughout the property wherever you need them. You can also call 708-889-5600. Tell them you heard about it on this show. 3 months free monitoring. 3 months free monitoring. And who monitors it? 40 employees for over 40 years. Goldilocks has been bringing peace of mind to all neighborhoods, especially the ones where the Democrats are in charge, because they lie about the crime stats. So if you don't want to be a victim, you want to have the best opportunity to have decent people monitor your house, well, you can monitor your house. You'll never have to ask if I lock the doors again at GoldilocksInc.com. Online, GoldilocksInc.com, or call 708-889-5600 so you don't have to stand there on the evening news like some big dummy saying, I thought I locked the door. I didn't know anything. My neighbors didn't see anything, and the aliens broke into my house. When we get back, 312-642-5600 after news.
Thanks, Shaun. Good afternoon. 65 degrees in Chicago in the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560. The Answer, an 8-year-old girl among 3 people who were shot in the Bronzeville neighborhood. This crime happened at the Lake Meadows Shopping Center on Wednesday afternoon. This shopper is concerned for her safety.
We don't have to be concerned about our safety all the time. You know, a trip to the coffee shop, the Subway, the nail shop shouldn't be this frightening.
A crane malfunctioned, leaving a worker dead.
Police in Carroll Stream in west suburban Chicago say a 55-year-old worker at Specialty Rolled Metals was lifting a giant spool of metal onto a flatbed truck when the overhead crane that he was using somehow broke. The giant metal roll came down on top of the worker, who we're told later died of his injuries. Police are investigating the death as non-criminal. OSHA is also conducting a separate investigation.
Jeff Bonasso reporting. Home opener for the White Sox delayed by a day. The team announced yesterday that the game against the Toronto Blue Jays at Rate Field has been pushed back to tomorrow due to inclement weather in the forecast. All tickets for today's postponed home opener are good for tomorrow's game. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. On AM 560, let's head to the traffic center at Check of the Road.
On the outbound Edens, we are okay. We're seeing delays even spur half day to the tri-state, though. Crash inbound Kennedy in the right lane at Lawrence. 55 minutes in from O'Hare. The outbound side at 42 minutes. The exit ramp is still blocking the northbound side of Mannheim Road, solid from I-90 with an accident. On the outbound Eisenhower, it is a 50-minute trip from the post office out to 390. Stevenson, another crash at Damon, reported 50 minutes to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355. Outbound Ryan at 40. Inbound 28 with a crash in the left lane at 63rd. Outbound on the Express, tight 35th to Marquette. Outbound Ford, an accident at Beaubien Woods, heads up there. Solid conditions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. The tollways, except the Reagan at 355, are showing delays. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 47. On Friday, expect a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a shower in some areas later in the afternoon. The high will reach 59 degrees. Friday night will not be as cold with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. The low will be 43, but temperatures will rise into the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
Hey, this is Shaun Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
I spent years in the Marine Corps learning discipline, attention to detail, and how to do the job right.
I'm Jim Melchert, and these standards stayed with me when I founded Garage Store here in Chicagoland. Your garage is probably the most neglected part of the house. Cracked floors, clutter everywhere, and a lot of wasted space. Garage Store provides solutions for that. Built for Chicago weather, our beautiful, durable floor coatings can be installed in just 2 days. We also install heavy-duty cabinets, overhead storage, even vehicle lifts. From floor to ceiling, your garage will be transformed into a space you'll be proud of and a space your friends will envy. Plus, our in-house, professional, respectful crew delivers timely installs. See why thousands of Chicagoans are transforming their garages with Garage Store.
Schedule your free in-home garage makeover estimate today. Call 847-428-8862 or visit garage-store.com. That's garage-store.com. Garage Store, built on service, driven by quality.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Estate jewelry, vintage watches, sell worldwide for true auction value. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this, if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about.
Yeah, I don't want to have sex with aliens. I haven't heard enough time.
The Corvair spacecraft has apparently been taken over, conquered, if you will, by a master race of giant space ants. It's difficult to tell from this vantage point whether they will consume the captive Earthmen or merely enslave them. One thing is for certain, there is no stopping them. The ants will soon be here. And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. I'd like to remind them that as a trusted TV personality, I can be helpful in rounding up others to toil in their underground sugar caves.
John Palatine.
Hey, Shaun, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey, do you think they meant by going where no man has gone before? Could that be Jan Schakowsky's underpants, maybe?
Oh, that's a rough one. I still say they smell better than Michelle Obama's, but that's just me. I'm silly that way. Lamo, Chris!
Yo, Shaun, hey, I just recently got kicked to the curb, so I'm single and I'm ready to mingle. So if you go hook me up with one of these alien broads,
yeah,
I'd be happy. I'd be grateful.
Maybe they have more than 2 breasts. That's going to be interesting. Thank you very much, Chris. I like the way you think. Glenn in Orlando.
Shaun, I can prove aliens here. Look at the No Kings rally.
By the way.
Of course.
Does it? Did you really look at it? Did you ever spend any time? You know, I've got a couple things. When you see these fracking morons, have you ever really listened to it and looked at them? And these are all repulsive Democrats. Look.
What do you make of the fact that he was democratically elected, even won the popular vote? How does that make him a king?
It doesn't make him a king. It makes him a president, not a king.
Well, this is called No Kings. So what does that mean to you?
It means we got to get rid of him. He's not a king. It's a democratic process, and we've gone that route with him. Now he's acted like a king.
Can you give me?
Now, he's 5'2", 320 pounds. Never did a push-up in his life with a cowboy hat on. And the alien broads say no. Pass. You can't even get that guy laid with alien broads with 3 boobs. Thank you very much, Glenn. Jay, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Oh, I like the humor. Everybody's laughing, but hey, man, Tim Burkett and Matt Gaetz and how about that Hubba? She's not yours. She's like Orlando's Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. Oh man,
yeah.
I know, but
Listen,
this is
Jay,
real. Yeah,
it's me, it's you, it's Squirrel. I'll kick the ass of a Guatemalan illegal alien or one of those space illegal aliens. Bring it or shut the frack up. Can't wait for the aliens to get here. Greg in Rogers Park.
Shaun, first of all, I want to wish you and your family and everyone on AM 560 a very happy and blessed Holy Week and Easter. And thank you for everything you've done. You've educated me a lot on things, and I just thank you for helping me understand things better over the years.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah. No, it's very important what you do, and you really put a light on in the darkness. My question is, do you think the U.S. should leave NATO like President Trump talked about?
I think the U.S. should have left NATO decades ago. The whole fracking thing. You want to know when the U.S. should have left NATO and NATO should have been disbanded? When the Soviet Union collapsed. right then and there. The whole world would be different. But if you look at the players that kept it in action, it's not just moron Democrats, a lot of scumbag Bushes. A lot of scumbag Bushes kept that going. I mean, the whole thing is a joke, and it's more of a war incentivizer than anything else. And when you look how it actually works, they've been stealing the fracking money the whole time.
Do you believe the EU and NATO countries betrayed the U.S. at this crucial moment?
I think it was very disappointing. You have this, and again, look, the president and our country will have to re-examine all of this after this operation is over. But one of the reasons why NATO is beneficial to the United States is it gives us basing rights for contingencies. It allows us to station troops and aircraft and weapons and in parts of the world that we would normally have bases, and that includes in much of Europe. And to see that in a time of need, the United States has identified a grave risk to our national security and our national interests, and we needed to conduct this operation. And we have countries like Spain, a NATO member, that we are pledged to defend, denying us the use of their airspace. And
so what did I pay you for? Hey, conquistador moron, what the frack did I pay you and your dumpy wife for? Now give me the money back. Deal's off. Should we do it? There's no reason to keep it. There is zero reason to give them $1. And then look at the foreign policy over the years. Look at the trillions and trillions and trillions. And you got the balls to tell me no? You're lucky Trump's in there. Because I just now Spain is mine. I'll pretend I'm one of those theocrats, those illegal aliens that broke in and are changing it into one of those Sharia law places. Now it's mine.
Bragging about it, denying us the use of their bases. And there are other countries that have done that as well. And so you ask yourself, well, what is in it for the United States? And I've been a big supporter of NATO. And one of the reasons why I've been a supporter of NATO is because I believe that these basing rights give us leverage and give us flexibility and operation.
Well, that's the story you were told, Marco. And I like that you believe those stories, but you should never believe them. Look at the scum that are telling you the stories of NATO.
Upon Putin, I don't think that that Russia could maintain the war forever, number one, in terms of their resources and capacity. Number two.
And all the money stolen.
Two, I think that there is going to be a circumstance where eventually President Putin is going to decide it's not in the interest of Russia, economically, politically, or otherwise.
And does anybody remember why it started? Why did it start? Have anything to do with the fact that the Ukrainian people themselves were calling their government the most corrupt government in the world? They outlawed an entire religion. The Ukrainians. They outlawed their religion. Who the freck are you, morons? The religion was there when you were the Soviet Union. It was there before you were the Soviet Union, and it'll be there afterwards. But not among the Ukrainian Azov Nazis. Oh, yeah. Still celebrating Stefan Bandera Day on the 1st. Screw you and that Stefan Bandera Nazi. Too bad my uncle didn't kill him, too. Corey Woodlawn.
Hey, evening, Shaun. You know, I heard Pam Bondi got let go, but I wanted to get your take on this because I thought Pam Bondi was pretty loyal. I know she didn't make a massive amount of arrests, but I did want to hear what your take is.
Well, there were a lot of things going on. There were a lot of wheels in motion, but apparently, listen, did you? I only watched, I think, 2 of those episodes of The Apprentice. Yeah, he's big on firing people. And you're fired. Listen, could she have done more? I think she could have done more, but here's what people, and I would say it when people would call you, she's got to do an arrest and this. I got a cut on the board. And it's an interesting cut, Corey, and I'll tell you why. They caught one of these Somalians who stole. This is another one. Now we got the 3 female judges who let the people go. There's another judge now. I'm trying to look for it, where she let the people go with saying they'll never be back in a federal crime again. They were convicted and they admitted they actually pled guilty on the crime, stealing like $7 million, $8 million. It was one of these suck-ons, and the judge said, "I'm never going to do it." Where is it, Honey Bunny? You find it? Honey Bunny will find it. It's a fascinating example of, so now we got 3 female judges that overturned jury convictions of millions of dollars in time. Now, and they let them walk right out of the courtroom. You've got judges in Wisconsin that smuggle illegal aliens out under the robe. So you got a lot of moving parts, right? So how do you pull, like, for instance, Chicago? How could you possibly pull a big-time, mobbed-up, daily sycophant and convict him and charge him in Cook County, in Chicago, in Illinois? So there were a lot of headwinds. But look, if it's time for a change, change it. I don't care what it takes. Go get some of the money back. Because the idea that we pretend that we're doing something when we're not, that's as stupid as taking a flight around the moon for $200 billion. Thank you, Corey.
Thanks, Shaun.
312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
The summer heat in Chicagoland is no joke. And if your old air conditioner is making funny noises, you may already know it's time for a new unit.
Look, your air conditioner, it's a disaster. People are telling me it's the worst ever.
Don't sweat it, literally. When it comes to cooling your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Rebates are still available, financing is flexible, and at Air Right installations are smooth and professional with no surprises.
It's beautiful. Some people say it's the coolest air anyone's ever felt. I don't know. That's just what they're saying. It's doing an incredible job. Really tremendous.
Plus, tell them AM 560 sent you, and Air Right will give you $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5407 to schedule a free consultation.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
AM 560. The Answer.
Squirrel, call Bally's. Have Teddy call Bally's. Find out what the line is. Aliens mating with Nancy Guthrie. That's where she is. Having the time of her life. So the judge in Minnesota is Judge Nancy Brazel. This is a Somalian scumbag. Sets up an LLC. Bills the government for feeding kids. Not one kid was fed. Pled guilty. $3.5 million.
Ms. Jama, do you have any comment?
Judge Nancy Brazel said that Zamzam Jama was one of the
Zam Zam Jama. All right, that's fun to say. Let's hear that again, Scroll. Zam Zam Jama. See if we could call up GoDaddy. Let's see if we can get zamzamjama.com, and we'll list all the scumbags that get away with stealing government money.
Ms. Jama, do you have any comment?
Judge Nancy Brazel said that Zam Zam Jama was one of the least culpable defendants, and she doesn't think that she'll see Jama back in federal court for another crime.
So you get to go home. Have a good time. And could you tell me what time it is on your Rolex that we bought? All of it open and notorious. It's just absolutely despicable.
We got to continue to root out waste, fraud, and abuse in some of the most important programs we have. Recently, a woman was sentenced for Medicaid fraud in the state of Wisconsin. She was doing egregious stuff, buying Rolexes, billing over 24 hours a day of work. Absolutely absurd.
Where's the money? And it's just gone, and you get in front of these judges, these Democrat judges, 99% of the time female Democrat judges, and you walk. So what was she supposed to do? How many times are you going to try them and watch the cases get adjudicated to no end? It's fascinating.
The Trump administration ramps up its crackdown on fraud. Vice President J.D. Vance is now targeting Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Now, Vance is leading the new anti-fraud task force, which met for the first time on Friday. Now, we have learned that Omar's immigration history is now under review. Omar came to the U.S. as a refugee from Somalia in 1995. She's been dogged with questions about her marriages for a while now. Officials note immigration fraud can carry serious penalties, including losing citizenship.
We actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America.
But she's a congresswoman who is at the root of billions and billions and billions of dollars that have been stolen. So what does the Democrat mafia do? Let's get two suck-ons. We'll say Jim Acosta and this dizzy bimbo on Merlot antidepressants and lip filler high. What's her name, honey bunny? Welch? Jennifer Welch? Here they are on their own little podcast.
And I mean, just today, I guess J.D. Vance announced that he's got this new book coming out. Did you see this? This talk about Christian signaling. Here it is right here. He's got a book coming out called Communion. As if his last book wasn't a fraud. Here comes a new one. He works for Donald Trump. Enough with
thing about J.D. Vance. And I want to put this memo out. We have a job in this left-wing media ecosystem. We need to muddy up his reputation as best we can. Everybody did a great job with the
Which is why you didn't hear one word from a Democrat-elected politician and very little from media until we, the decent people, exposed the crime that had been going on for years, decades and decades, by the Somalian morons. Oh, it's not just me, Squirrel, that says morons. Big Donnie agrees with me. And if you just check the IQ of countries around the world, Somalia is among the lowest. Yet they were smart enough to get away with it. And how? Just get a couple of rat Democrats to create a policy that you can steal.
Somalia is just terrible. A lot of people say it's the worst country anywhere in the world. They have no money, no nothing. They have no government. They have no police. They just shoot each other all day long. It's just
like Chicago.
It's just pure bedlam. Probably the worst, most dangerous country. We have some beauties. And they're low IQ, generally. I mean, I can generalize. They're low IQ people. They're bad people.
Give them credit where credit's due. They were smart enough to get away with stealing billions. And who pays the cost? As always, the decent, the honest, the hardworking Americans.
Tonight we want to share some new research with you. It shows plummeting commercial property values in downtown Minneapolis right now are actually part of a decade-long pattern.
As we reported, homeowners could be left to pick up the tab with rising property taxes.
Join the party. It's the same thing in New York, in New Jersey, in Chicago, now called Chirac, or California, or anywhere Democrats are. But what do the reporters want to do? You're going to muddy up the waters and attack the individuals who try to expose and stop it, right? Morons. Jim Acosta was a big-time reporter before Donald Trump started to reveal what he really was, just a Democrat apparatchik asset of a mafia.
Stuff, A+, no notes. This guy wants to be the heir apparent of MAGA. He's younger, he's darker, he's a lot more evil, he's a lot smarter than Trump, and he's
And you are what every Democrat is, a loser, a failure, a fraud, and a liar who have never succeeded at balancing a checkbook, let alone a budget. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Mike Rowe here with a radical idea. If you want to see more companies make more things in this country, buy more things from more companies who make things in this country. I refer in this case to the incredible T-shirts, sweatshirts, blue jeans, and more made by my friends at American Giant. Everything American Giant makes is made in the United States. And right now, you can take 20% off your first order at american-giant.com/Mike. That's american-giant.com/Mike.
When someone you love is living with memory loss, finding the right care isn't just important, it's everything. At Terra Vista of Oak Brook Terrace, memory care isn't an add-on, it's all we do.
When Mom moved into Terra Vista, everything changed. She's safe, engaged, and surrounded by people who truly understand dementia. And I finally get to just be her daughter again.
Terra Vista was built specifically for caring for those with Alzheimer's and other types of dementia, with secure indoor and outdoor spaces, innovative therapies, and a community that feels like home. Residents stay active, connected, and respected every single day.
And the best part? Mom can live with dignity. And I have peace of mind.
If memory care is in your future, choose the community designed for it. Choose Terra Vista of Oak Brook Terrace. Schedule a tour today at terravista.org. Again, that's terravista.org. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Terra Vista, where memory care lives.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Zach Smith is somebody I love to talk to because he represents a lawyer that's on the right side of things, one who believes in the Enlightenment, the principles of American law versus government tyranny. He's the senior legal fellow and manager of the Supreme Court and Appellate Court Advocacy Program for the Edwin Meese III Center at Heritage Foundation. I always enjoy our time with Zach. We're going to talk with Zach Smith about what Election Day really means, or as it's called in Illinois, Selection Day. That'll all happen after News with Patrick.
Next, Shaun, 65 degrees in Chicago in the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560, The Answer. The Iranian regime responding after President Trump threatened to hit them hard again in his address on Wednesday night.
They have been defiant in both actions and words. The missile strikes, the actions. This all despite President Trump promising to bomb them back into the Stone Ages and the actions of the U.S. military in carrying that out. CENTCOM video again showing the strikes that continue across Iran, targeting military missile launchers, military industrial complex.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Tel Aviv. A DePaul University student is accused of spitting on an ICE agent at O'Hare Airport. Brett Heyer spat on an agent this past Sunday, according to police. Leaving Terminal 2 at O'Hare, the 20-year-old faces a felony charge of aggravated battery to a peace officer. The incident happened after President Trump decided to send ICE agents to airports across the country to assist with TSA security operations during the partial government shutdown. Four juveniles face battery charges after a large crowd of people gathered in downtown Naperville. Police say they are aware of a video circulating showing a large crowd of up to 300 teens and young adults gathered in downtown. Four juvies arrested for battery and multiple citations were issued for trespassing. This report is service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending mixed for the day, but higher for the shortened trading week and snapping a 5-week losing streak as investors continue to assess the conflict in the Middle East. Stocks are racing steep earlier losses as the Strait of Hormuz optimism calms markets. Oil prices still remain high as inflation worries linger, with U.S. oil rising to $111 a barrel, its highest level since June of 2022. On Friday morning, the Labor Department will release the key jobs report for March. However, markets will be closed in observance of Good Friday. The Dow falling 61 points, the Nasdaq higher by 38, S&P 500 up 7. Shares of Tesla fell 5%. The EV maker said that its first quarter vehicle deliveries and production rose from the year-ago period, but fell from the previous quarter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-884-1012 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-884-1012. That's 800-884-1012. What do you have to lose? Call 800-884-1012. Again, 800-884-1012.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging: wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the Eden Spur, still busy. Deerfield to the Tri-State Spur to Skokie, inbound side 50 minutes. The Kennedy out 50 out to O'Hare. Exit ramp to northbound Mannheim remains blocked with flooding. Inbound Eisenhower, the entrance ramp closed from Mannheim Road due to a jackknife semi. That is a mess. Hour and 5 in, the reverse at 50. Stevenson 45 to Saba Lakeshore Drive to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Outbound Dan Ryan 40 minutes. Crash inbound Ford in the left lane at Cottage Grove. Solid on DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. We're seeing delays on the Tri-State in both directions. Westbound Jane Addams and eastbound Reagan. Tight as well. 355, though, not really a problem. This report is a service of Fox Valley Coins. No waiting, no problems. No charge for in-store verbal appraisals. Bring your gold or silver in today. FoxValleyCoins.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 47. On Friday, expect a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a shower later in the afternoon. The high will reach 59 degrees. Friday night will not be as cold with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. The low will be 43, but temperatures will rise into the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios,
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, I'll read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white.
My next guest is somebody I always enjoy talking to. Like the Spotted Owl, he's a good lawyer who fights for the principles of the Enlightenment, the principles of our nation. He's a senior legal fellow and the manager of the Supreme Court and Appellate Court Advocacy Programs in the Edwin Meese III Center for Legal and Judicial Studies at the Heritage Foundation. Zach Smith, how are you, handsome?
I'm doing well, Shaun. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
Well, you wrote a very interesting article, and the article is about Election Day, or as it's known in Democrat areas, Selection Day. And I'm curious to know how you view this. There's some big cases right now before the Supreme Court, but I'm curious to know how you view this. And I say this to you because I think that the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers are some of the most interesting documents we have to link the mindset of America. And I have to tell you, I grew up big part of the time as an Anti-Federalist. Sometimes I'm glad the Federalists won, sometimes I'm sad they didn't, or that the Anti-Federalists didn't. This is a big and important issue, and I'm wondering how you see it playing out.
Yeah, so this is a crucial issue, and it's a crucial issue because many states, including Mississippi, have accepted and counted ballots received after Election Day. In Mississippi, the rule is someone can mail and send in a ballot, and it will be received and counted up to 5 days after Election Day. Now, here's the problem with that, Shaun. Congress has stepped in. They've passed a federal statute setting the Tuesday after the first Monday in November as the federal election day. And so essentially what the RNC, a couple of other plaintiffs are arguing is that by accepting and counting those ballots after that congressionally mandated election day, that violates those federal statutes.
And the reality is, the federal government, although we have a system where state governments can set a lot of the parameters, the federal government does have the oversight to change that, especially in these areas, because you're talking about a state where it's 5 days. In Illinois, they wanted 2 weeks. So Illinois is even worse. And once the states become controlled by a single corrupt party, they really need the federal government to change the fact that the government itself has been corrupted. And when we speak of Illinois, I think it's a better example than the one you gave for this reason. We have a gangster who was an alderman in charge of finance for 50 years. He just got out. He just went to prison. I think he's out already. And his name is Ed Burke. His wife was the chief Supreme Court justice on the Illinois Supreme Court. So once the states become that corrupted, you need the federal government to correct those wrongs, don't you?
Well, look, Shaun, the Constitution gives states, and particularly state legislatures, the primary authority to set election rules and procedures. But the Constitution is also very clear that Congress can step in and set nationwide rules in certain circumstances. And where Congress has exercised that authority, the congressional determination has to be followed. And so, unfortunately, what you're seeing, to your point, often in blue states, but not always, but often in blue states, are very liberal efforts to circumvent those rules and procedures that are often designed to put in place common sense election integrity measures. That's part of the reason I think you're seeing such pushback against things like the SAVE Act, which would allow Congress to exercise certain common sense procedures that would help safeguard our electoral processes.
One of the questions that, it just gnaws at me. It truly does, and I'm asked it by a lot of callers. I think this is something where I can't explain it. I have still been unable to understand how states can nullify federal immigration laws. Now, I don't care if they call them sanctuary states, sanctuary cities. The reality is these individuals and a very small fraction of the population, be they elected or not is irrelevant to me, have determined that they will ignore a very important law. Now, the reason that they do it is very simple to me, because I'm from the homeland of Cloward and Piven. They are trying to overwhelm the system and steal elections. There is no other reason. And yet, this has been in practice for decades. In the very first case, why didn't the federal government immediately sue and prosecute the very people who would nullify immigration laws, of which we have many pathways to be a citizen? Why in the world did they tolerate this for this long?
Well, look, Shaun, as a policy matter, every state, every local government should help enforce federal immigration law. Now, in terms of what the federal government can require the states to do, there's a line of cases that say essentially the federal government cannot commandeer state and local officials to enforce federal laws if those state and local officials don't want to. And that's primarily what these so-called sanctuary cities are relying on. Now, two quick points are in order. The first is what often has happened is that the federal government will give a lot of money to state and local governments, and they'll attach certain conditions to that money. And so what you've seen President Trump and the Trump administration saying is if you are not going to fulfill really your civic duty of helping to enforce federal immigration law, then we're going to take away some of that money that was allocated that you're supposed to use to help fulfill those purposes. The other thing I would say, the second point I would make, is that even though state officials may not have an obligation constitutionally to affirmatively help enforce federal immigration law, what they cannot do, and what many state officials have come close to doing, or in some instances have stepped over the line into doing, is they cannot actively obstruct federal law enforcement officials from enforcing federal immigration law. And so I think that's something that you may also see a tougher crackdown on going forward. And you've already seen some prosecutions of local judges, others who have crossed that line into actively obstructing federal law enforcement.
I'm going to ask your opinion, because I value it so much, on what is happening in the state of Minnesota, which is so completely corrupted in the judicial arena.
Shaun, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to take advantage of having you on, and I'm going to ask you an opinion of what has been insane to me. There are 3 different female judges, now a 4th female judge in Minnesota, that has let Somalian admitted criminals who have admitted or been found guilty by a jury, and judges have overturned the jury verdict in 3 different cases, and they just let somebody who pled guilty walk. When the judicial arena becomes this corrupted, what can the federal government do to change this? Because they are getting away with stealing money that I believe the policies itself were created so that the money could be stolen. And I hate the idea that they're getting away with this, but they are.
Well, I would say stay tuned, Shaun. I think you're seeing a focus by the Trump administration to combat fraud. You just saw a new assistant attorney general sworn in, specifically designed to help combat fraud. The vice president, several other federal officials are focusing on this issue. And so the Trump administration has made clear combating systemic fraud is going to be a major push, a major focus of the Justice Department going forward, whoever runs it. The second thing I would say is, look, whenever you have judges failing to do their duties, failing to follow the law, state officials have to take action and hold them accountable under state law. And so Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida has done that in several instances. You're seeing calls right now, again, in my home state of Florida, to impeach a local trial court judge who released a violent offender, released that individual back into the public, who unfortunately went on to harm other individuals, children, in fact. And so, look, there are mechanisms available. Political leaders just have to have the will and the ability to follow through and hold those individuals accountable.
One of the things I have a question of in Illinois, for instance, this is a big problem when it comes to the bankruptcy of the state and a bankruptcy of so many other states. And that is that the politicians indemnify ridiculous agreements for government workers. So they create a law. And that law says at no time can pensioners, people who retire or work for the government, can they ever be affected by a return on investment or by villages and counties and cities and states not contributing what the allotted agreement was to their pension. So in essence, they don't contribute. They never contribute, and when they need money, they raise taxes. How in the world in America could government create a law that enslaves the non-government workers to government workers? Don't you think this should be challenged?
Well, look, fiscal irresponsibility in deep blue states like Illinois, like cities like Chicago, Cook County, unfortunately, as you know, Shaun, that's nothing new. Now, I think certainly you are seeing pushback to some of those tax and spend regimes. Unfortunately, that tax and spend pushback has primarily been coming from red states. Once again, my home state of Florida, who's been very good at combating wasteful, fraudulent spending at the local level. But you are seeing some challenges, federal lawsuits being brought against some state and local governments that are exceeding their taxing authority, that are committing really takings under the Fifth Amendment. And I suspect you'll see more of that as these efforts to extract tax money from taxpayers really exceeds in unprecedented ways.
Zach Smith, I so appreciate you and everybody at Heritage for always making time. I know how busy you are. Thank you for joining me on a very busy day for you. I really appreciate you making time, Zach. Talk to you soon.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me on, Shaun. Take care.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, okay. So you just want me to get Progressive Auto Insurance because their collision coverage covers up to $1,000 in vet bills if you're injured in an accident? That's it? Okay, calm down. Let's not resort to name calling.
Progressive's collision coverage helps pay for care for your pet when they're in the car during an accident.
No, you're right. Sorry, I shouldn't have said calm down.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage included with purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
This is Shaun Thompson. One of the things I remember about spring is listening to my grandfather walk around and say, opening day, it's just around the corner. He used to think those were the two sweetest words you could say during springtime because he was a big baseball fan. And for most people, that's the case. It's one of the greatest American traditions each spring. But there's another great American tradition that isn't far off, and that's called Tax Day. Well, opening day and tax day show up around the same time each year. We don't look at them in the same way. Well, you're optimistic about your favorite team. When's the last time you felt optimistic about stroking a big check to Uncle Sam? It doesn't have to be that way, and all you have to do is call Tom Fortino, the people at Alpha Wealth Group, who believe that baseball is a seasonal game, but tax planning goes on year-round. So if you don't want to write a big check in your retirement, and you don't want to have your Social Security or Medicare premiums affected by it, call Tom Fortino and the people at Alpha Wealth Group for their complimentary retirement roadmap. Call them at 630-864-6711. That number again is 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Let me ask you something. Does your garage floor look bad? Covered in salt, cracked, or stained from the winter's brutal blast? Well, I've got a fix for you so you can start enjoying your garage this spring. Contact my good friends at Level 10 Coatings. Level 10 brought my garage floor from dirty and gross to showroom, shiny new in just one day. Level 10 Coatings can do the same for you. A quick and easy fix, permanent durable solution. Guaranteed to never chip or peel. Get it done now so you can enjoy your garage this spring and summer. Schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, for $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com. Level10coatings.com or call 855-510-2628. Again, that's 855-510-2628. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
AM 560, The Answer.
Discovered was really shocking. Not only are these top-line numbers somewhere between $180 billion and $280 billion in fraud under Gavin Newsom in California, but when you dig into it and you read all of the court documents, the indictments, the other investigations, we found out that virtually every criminal group on planet Earth has been looting the state of California. Romanian international fraud rings. You had rap groups in Memphis, Tennessee. You had neo-Nazi prison gangs. You had people actually in California death row applying for fraudulent unemployment benefits. And what we found is that essentially every criminal group saw that Gavin Newsom was opening the floodgates of state spending. They could take whatever they wanted. And he's losing now an estimated up to $50 billion a year to fraud. You
notice how you never hear these stories about Illinois? You know why? Illinois' got a tighter mafia. Oh, you stick together, right? After all, you suck-ons, you made a fortune over the decades. And you were able to get Fat Boy in there as governor. Easy peasy. And how? Well, gee, there's elections. Sure there are. Just like California, they're fraudulent.
Well, independent journalist James O'Keefe and his team released another video this week of what appears to be more election fraud in the state of California. The footage capturing the homeless being paid to sign ballot petitions using the names of registered voters. The
aliens, not the space ones, and just the domestic degenerates from out of state. Chris, Orlando, Florida.
Hey, it's your boy Chris. Listen, I want you to kind of calm down because you're going to get angry froth all over that expensive cigar, sir.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm very calm today. Are you kidding me? I took a totally different approach. I was listening to cuts of all these communist fluffers called media. Bash Trump about Iran, bash all the success, bash. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go with the aliens having sex with ugly, fat Democrat women.
Oh, listen. The good thing is that in about 10 years, they're going to be extinct because they're not reproducing and nothing is coming from them. They don't produce anything and they don't create anything. They don't fix anything. They don't do anything. They just shout.
And as long as the aliens are in shake and heterosexual, that will not change, even though the Democrat women are willing and capable of having sex with aliens. I agree with you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Oh, you know it. Now, my main thing is this. There are three things that human beings apparently were able to do before, but they cannot do now. One is procreate without insemination. Two is walk on water. And three is walk on the moon. So those are things that need to be questioned. I'm so sorry, sir.
I couldn't agree with you more. I take a lot of heat from that. I've got a lot of text messages. What do you mean you don't believe it? First of all, we've been beat over the head the whole time. Went to the moon. Why can't we do that? Really? Very interesting. When you come to think about who we're talking about and the people that make up our society and how it looks when it comes to American IQ. Is it that much higher than the 59 of the IQ of the average Somalian?
Specific example?
Specific example? Well, there's a million of them all put together. There's no one example. It's
Just one or two?
It's more than one or two.
No, can you give me one or two examples?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I can, I guess. I'm just in loss of thought.
Never met a Democrat he couldn't hurry up to support, you morons. And what we've seen with our own eyes, don't worry about it. The Democrats do it better, don't they, Squirrel? If I remember correctly, all of these same idiots couldn't wait to get behind the dimwit in diapers as he kept telling us that this war in Ukraine was perfect.
No one can join NATO while a war is going on, where a NATO nation is being attacked, because that guarantees that we're in a war, and we're in a third world war. So that it's not about whether or not they should or shouldn't join. It's about when they can join. Putin's already lost the war. Putin has a real problem. How does he move from here? What does he do? He could end the war tomorrow.
That was how many years ago? How many people dead? How much money stolen? Over and over again. But Trump's the king.
There's a lot of things.
Okay.
I can't really.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
I know what Biden did. I don't agree with all of it, but this is way worse than what any other president
What makes it worse
in this country. You can't see that? I don't have anything more to say if you don't know.
What makes President Trump a king?
Himself.
Morons. Each and every one of them. Couldn't wait to stick the clot shot in their arm. Get some of that free money. The only difference between them and Somalians may be smarter. Mitchell in Des Plaines.
I think you're right, Sean. How do you know that, yesterday with Artemis, it was on a full moon. So the full moon's still in effect, but officially launched yesterday. So I guarantee you the Trump administration knew that because they literally launched a mission to the moon on a full moon in Libra, which is the scales of justice. Number one.
But it's not even a mission to the moon, allegedly. The excuse that I heard is they're going to just go around it. What are you guys going to do? Did they bring cigars? How long does that take? $200 billion to go around the moon. For what? Well,
intelligence. Maybe they want to get some stuff on intel on what's going up there. Who knows? I mean, Space Force, Sean. Also, what I want to ask you, Pritzker was talking about property taxes today and how, the Republicans in the state of Illinois are, saying, we've paid enough and we want to have all this reformation. First of all, Pritzker lies through his teeth. It says that, you know what, the biggest problem, this wasn't that he said that was truthful, is that property taxes, the reason why they're so expensive and they're rising is because of public schools. Well, he said, Albert, at 86% where people are paying, okay, at 86% that funds these public schools, why aren't you and basically the state legislator doing something to even it out or create,
they're not illegal aliens in Illinois. They're smokescreens, and they need that. And what people need to understand is that your neighbors are well aware, and they're already making changes. This is great news for the people who don't want to move too far. They like them. They like the weather up there. They're not too bad. They like the fact that the middle of the country and the roads and the convenience. Well, you don't have to go far to get right and wrong.
Come July 1st, Senate Bill 76, also known as the Fairness Act, will go into effect in Indiana. It's aimed at helping crack down on illegal immigration.
And all agencies are included, so we're talking universities, hospitals, businesses, and law enforcement. Tonight in part one of Illegally in Indiana, we're focusing on the law enforcement side of the law. So investigative reporter Caroline Clapp joins us in studio after talking one-on-one with Governor Mike Braun and St. Joe County Sheriff Bill Redmond. Caroline, fill us in.
Lauren, Josh, Governor Braun says he is all for immigrants who are coming to Indiana legally.
And Illinois is all for illegal aliens. And they call them immigrants. They're not really immigrating. They're just coming there to rob, rape, and pillage and steal and murder. We'll be back.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Tom contacted us for a HELOC and financial planner recommendation. After I spoke with Tom, he submitted this 5-star Google review. Reached out to David for a HELOC and financial advisor referral. He put me in touch with KCTCU for a HELOC and fiduciary advisor within 24 hours. David helped me refinance several years ago and provided great service then as well, and will recommend his services to friends and family that need a loan in the future. Thank you, David. No, thank you, Tom. If you'd like this type of 5-star service, call Team Hochberg now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit our website 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long, not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear, hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
You know, it's interesting. You hear Stephen A. Leahy talk about the IRS. How come the IRS wasn't on to the Somalian thieves with their phony LLCs? How come the IRS wasn't on to the thieves in the phony hospice care in California How come the IRS isn't on to the New York or Illinois transportation companies? It seems to be they're only on to you, and you're the only one that needs to worry about how to pay things. Well, we give you answers here on AM 560, The Answer. If you need to pay the IRS or just afford your property taxes that are attached to something you can't explain, but they keep going up as your house value goes down, Randy Donnelly and the people at Donnelly Auctions may help you liquidate things you don't even know you have in your garage, in your basement, in your attic, parked in your driveway. If it's a car, a boat, or a motorcycle, it may be of more value than you ever could imagine. If it has a license plate, it may be of more value than you can ever imagine. Randy Donnelly and the people of Donnelly Auctions set a record in selling one license plate, for $30,000. Granted, it was old and it was unique, but somebody was going to throw that out. The widow thought her husband was wasting time. He had boxes full of them. Randy Donnelly made it so she's financially secure, but she wouldn't have known if she didn't call Randy Donnelly. If she didn't go to DonnellyAuctions.com. Call 815-923-7000 and ask anybody what something is worth. If you're proud of it, if your grandfather wore it in a war, if it's advertising memorabilia of when this country was proud to be capitalist, it's probably worth more money than that dollar it's going to take to buy it. Go to DonnellyAuctions.com or call 815-923-7000. Take advantage of a half a century of success in exposing items to the World Wide Web. If you've inherited something, a house, a collection of art, coins, no matter what it is, Randy Donnelly and the people of Donnelly Auctions can help you sell it at the highest price at DonnellyAuctions.com because it's the World Wide Web. And don't forget, state and federal licensed arms dealer. As the Illinois communists try to take your right to bear arms away, why not sell it to a free American who can pay top dollar for it because it's easier to make money in different states? Go to DonnellyAuctions.com or 815-923-7000. When we get back, 312-642-5600 after News with Patrick.
Thanks a lot. Middle 60s in Chicago, the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560, The Answer. Mayor Johnson unveiling a plan to effectively end homelessness. Questions about how the initiative will be funded have largely gone unanswered, however.
It's imperative that we find multiple streams of revenue so that we have more than enough, not just to deal with homelessness and housing, but we can deal with the other critical needs that people have.
A report out does not spell out whether taxpayers will face new costs, but it does lay out a roadmap for Chicago to better use the money that's already being spent on the issue. Teen takeovers are back in Chicago.
We have had two in the past week, including in Hyde Park with several hundred teenagers. Some of them here running on top of and jumping from car to car, smashing windshields and denting nearly 30 vehicles. Eventually, police say they arrested 8 teens and issued 24 curfew violations.
That's Fox's Garrett Tenney. White Sox home opener delayed by a day as the team announced that the game against Toronto at Rate Field has been pushed back to tomorrow due to inclement weather in the forecast, and all tickets for today's home opener will be good for tomorrow's game. News the service of American Beam and Steel, structural repair licensed contractors for your home and business. Search for American Beam and Steel online to schedule your consultation directly with the owner, Mark. American Beam and Steel. More news coming your way at 6. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Let's head to the traffic center and get an update on the roads. Here is Jill Urchat.
8094 westbound. There's an accident at Broadway in the right lane. Heads up for that. Elsewhere on the Kennedy outbound, the exit ramp to northbound Mannheim still blocked with flooding. 45 minutes out to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, the entrance ramp from Mannheim, that is closed due to a jackknife semi. Outbound side of the Eisenhower at 52 minutes. No delays on the outbound side of the Edens. Kennedy inbound as a crash at Lawrence, hour and 15 going in and 45 going out. 35 minutes outbound Ryan. It is solid on the outbound 4 to 115th to the Steel Bridge with roadwork. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way, and the Tri-State. Also busy eastbound Reagan. Jane Adamson 355, not bad. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcasts. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchat.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 47. On Friday, expect a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a shower in some areas later in the afternoon. The high will reach 59 degrees. Friday night will not be as cold with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. The low will be 43, but temperatures will rise into the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then they help you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Mike Rowe here with a radical idea. If you want to see more companies make more things in this country, buy more things from more companies who make things in this country. I refer in this case to the incredible t-shirts, sweatshirts, blue jeans, and more made by my friends at American Giant. Everything American Giant makes is made in the United States. And right now, you can take 20% off your first order at american-giant.com/Mike. That's american-giant.com/Mike.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Have military collectibles? Turn that history into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'm a rocket man. Rocket man.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
Out here, alone.
I don't think it has anything to do with space travel.
I think it's gonna
Remember who made this song famous? He was it has nothing to do with space. But all right, we'll go with it. However, I will say, when it comes to the news that I was just listening to, did they say that Brandon Johnson was going to end homelessness? Well, what took you so long? Hey, dummy! What took you so long?
Mayor Brandon Johnson is trying to let go of another city leader. This time, the guy in charge of Chicago's housing authority says he's not going anywhere, though. That's the group that runs public housing here. Paris Schutz talked to him and is here now with the latest. So what's going on?
Terrence, is a familiar story. Haven't we heard this before?
Yeah, at least three times now.
So this time, it is the chair of the Chicago Housing Authority. Matthew Brewer is his name. But Mayor Johnson says he is no longer the chair. Brewer says, yes, he is.
He said Mayor Johnson is not a king. It's fascinating what's going on in our once great city, aside from the murder and mayhem and rapes and robberies that have become normal commonplace. There seems to be a gluttony of vacant land, a gluttony of empty buildings, and a massive rise of homeless. I wonder how that is all attached.
Well, starting today, hundreds of vacant city lots are now available for purchase.
Yeah, and some will be sold for as little as $1.
Just go to Buy It, I Dare You. Because that dollar you think you're buying the lot for, it comes with a tax bill, regulations, water bills, and all kinds of nonsense you're not prepared for.
Johnson tried to fire Brewer and install another commissioner, an ally, Joanza Malone, to the post. But Brewer's not going anywhere. Now, the dispute...
I'm sorry, was it Joanza Malone? You know, I was going to name my second kid that, Joanza. It was between that and then famous movie actress and Carol and Barb. Joanza was right there.
Is over a board vote to find a new CEO for the Housing Authority. They voted 7-2 to select a man named Keith Pettigrew. Now, he led the housing agency in Washington, D.C., but Mayor Johnson did not like that pick. So the mayor has been pushing for former 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett to get that job. Remember, Burnett resigned from city council. The mayor appointed his son, Walter Burnett Jr., to replace him, and Burnett angled to get this CEO job at the CHA. But Brewer and a majority of the board say that Burnett wasn't even a finalist in the search process, and Brewer...
He doesn't have to be a finalist. Didn't he just send him there? Yeah, hire him! He's sent there by the moron in the Brioni suit who's misappropriated hundreds of millions, if not billions. How much money do you spend on illegal aliens? And yet we still have this massive homeless problem. And when it comes to the assets called land and houses in Chicago, they can't give it away.
Regina Waldrop is in Englewood with more on that story.
So this is all about combating blight and encouraging development. And this here, and what I'm standing in front of, one of the vacant lots that is up for sale.
And I would fence it off and have more yard for myself, you know, so I can put a garden, maybe my grandchildren put a playground, something like that.
You already got plans.
Yes, I have plans.
Cedra Allen's Inglewood home is surrounded by vacant lots. She's hoping to buy at least 2 of them to improve her neighborhood.
I think it would be a great program, and I'm very interested in it.
The city's vacant lot inventory includes about 7,000 properties, many of which were acquired through demolition liens over the last 50 years.
7,000 properties, and yet they still need more money for the same old excuses. And the reality is, the other people who head up these organizations, they're mobbed up. And they're sent there by other gangsters posing as politicians.
Explained to me in a sit-down just about an hour ago why he believes the mayor is coming after him.
I think he's disappointed because he didn't get the candidate that he wanted. And you can disagree with the result, but you can't ignore the process. And he's trying to invalidate the process.
Like a king? Is there going to be a No Kings March? And if you think you're unique to the problem, you're not. It's anywhere there is a Democrat, which is why the real focus by Republicans should be elect them, I dare you.
Back in January, we explained how the budget process worked. Well, my friends, we're in the middle of it now. Council Speaker Julie Menon just released her budget proposal. Her plan claims to close the city's $5.4 billion fiscal gap without taxing the rich or cutting services.
Really? That sounds interesting. How did she do it? Are you going to explore those reasons? Of course not, because it isn't about solving any fracking problems. It's about taking from the people who somehow can make.
Problem is, that's not what it would do. If her proposal was adopted, it would result in slashing billions of dollars from agency budgets, and working New Yorkers would pay the price. It double counts savings.
See, what's happening is there are more, and why shouldn't there be, more government workers, more government recipients of contracts than there are people to pay it. Your backdoor Sovietizing our once great areas. The snake eats its tail and pretends it's being fed. That's what every American communist, American Democrat, American Marxist, and American moron continue to support. There are people that agree with this child, this man-child that never worked before he became mayor, kind of like our own in Chirac.
Overestimates revenues, exaggerates savings on interest payments. And in the midst of this historic budget deficit, the Speaker's $6 billion proposal asks Albany for just one thing: more time to reduce class sizes.
You keep electing them, and you'll keep getting the same results, and they'll keep buying better suits. Mark, Oak Lawn.
Thanks for taking my call. You know, I saw that in the news that Brandon Johnson, he's got all these homes, and he's in the real estate business, and it sounds like it's out of the Gavin Newsom playbook, you know, where you buy all this property and homes, and then you say, well, this is going to solve homelessness, you know, in an area. And it's just the opposite, Shaun. These people that are out in the streets by themselves, they need to get dried. I mean, they need to get off drugs and alcohol, and you don't do it by enabling and just putting them in a home and saying, well, now the homelessness problem is solved. And it's another way for Brandon Johnson to work with these contractors and funnel money for his own self.
So you notice how they said they leaned property, and they took property over and then they demoed it. What did that cost? Is it free now to demo stuff? Who got that contract? What did it cost? And how many people that didn't paint something or didn't repair something, but were living there making payments? It was occupied. How many people had to now get thrown out on the streets? And then they make up the useful idiot, the homeless person, and the government gets more money in their name. First they create the problem, then they pretend to solve it. It's the 3-card Monte, Karl Marx style. That's exactly what it is, Mark.
And the problem never gets solved.
It's never supposed to. The goal is to look magnanimous. Right? The goal is to look magnanimous while you steal more power and money. It's an old tale. Many authors have written about it. Many capitalists and Americans warned about it. It's called communism.
Shaun,
yeah.
One last thing. You know who you remind me of? You know, Easter's coming up, and I know John the Baptist, they said, was a voice crying out in the wilderness. That's you, my friend.
Oh, come on. Thank you, though. I really not only don't deserve it, but I really do appreciate even the mention in the same paragraph. Thank you, brother. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
The price of gold is surging to new highs. It's already topped $5,000 an ounce. The only question is, how much money will you make when gold hits $6,000 an ounce? Investors like you have made small fortunes off the run-up in precious metals, and not just with gold stocks or ETFs. Many have taken advantage of a little-known gold investment officially released by the U.S. government. Now you can too, when you get our free special report from veteran trader and investor Jim Woods. It's called Gold Wealth Boosters. This new report outlines amazing gold investments that have returned 12 to 26 times more than investing in gold bullion itself. Given the uncertainty in world markets, the investments outlined in Jim Woods' Gold Wealth Boosters report are crucial in 2026, and it's free. To get your free Gold Wealth Boosters report, log on to EagleGoldReport.com. EagleGoldReport.com. That's EagleGoldReport.com.
Temperatures are cooling, but not concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this winter. Best Gen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through Best Gen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and Best Gen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. Best Gen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know, it's interesting when you focus and you just open up just a little investigation. We said in the very beginning when the Minnesota so-called scandal, it wasn't a scandal at all. Minnesota's a business plan. It's always the business plan. The Democrat mafia has the same business plan. And once things get bad and you see the buildings are confiscated, they can't sell the buildings, what happens? Well, then those buildings become money-making machines. So when you see Minneapolis commercial real estate being affected in the same way Chicago or California or New York, this is where the money really is made, on the failure itself.
Renee Cooper sat down with the man behind the research, and he says he was partially inspired by our reporting. Renee.
Up until now, I've been told the collapse of the commercial tax base here is a pandemic and a pandemic recovery problem. But David Schultz reached out to me to tell me this goes back further.
If the pandemic created the problem, we would have seen a similar pattern continuing to this day with Edina.
You've seen Professor David Schultz on our airwaves as an expert in law and political science. But he's also a former city planning and zoning director and was a housing and economic planner for a community action agency. And he says the collapse of the commercial tax base is a uniquely Minneapolis problem, and homeowners are increasingly paying the price. Schultz says the assessed value of office, retail, and hotel spaces plummeted about 28% in the last decade. And that commercial property, mostly downtown office towers, went from generating over a third of the city's net tax capacity to about a quarter. About a 10.
Now do Illinois. Do Chicago specifically. And times it by 10, and you're close to how bad the problem is. COVID was the great smokescreen of all. Tom, Blue Island.
Hey, John the Baptist, how's it going, brother?
Yeah, don't get crazy now. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's no comment. Shaun, they're putting illegals in these properties they're taking. If you go into Roseland or over by where Jessica Jackson lives, there's illegal aliens all over the place. You'd think you're on 26th Street. No permits. The houses are all messed up, so no work has been done on them, and they're putting illegal aliens in those properties.
Don't hang up, because I know that's your thing. You like to do that. You spent your life working in these areas on a variety of different projects, right? I mean, I'm not. I'll give you the plug if you want it, but you're in the roofing business, and you've seen all kinds of economies for decades. What is it? And I'm dead serious because I don't know the answer, and I'm asking you. What is happening when it comes to the idea that people can improve their property under the circumstances that the Chicago, Cook County, Illinois Democrat has created? What is happening in that arena? I'm curious.
Well, you don't need you don't need permits to do any kind of roofing unless it's new construction or it's over 3 stories. So that's number one. But number two, we do second-story additions too. And when you do second-story additions, when an inspector comes out, they go through everything on the property, even if it's got nothing to do with the addition that they're putting on. And so some of these customers I have, like in Roseland especially, you ain't getting occupancy to these houses if they are not up to every standard that the city inspector requires. And I'm telling you, Shaun, these illegals are in there, and you can tell just by looking at the house that nothing's been done to it for 20 years. They're just sticking them in there, Shaun.
Oh, I believe that. Listen, it's the greatest get in the world. And then what goes on in there, it's somehow you can't, the people who own it and want to improve it, they can't get in there because there's no occupancy. But the illegal alien or the gangbanging degenerate that's running a drug mill out of there, he's very comfortable in there, isn't he?
Absolutely. So like, just a quick example, the second-story addition we did on my friend's house years back, he had a fire, and then with the insurance money at Mount Greenwood, he had money to put a second story on there. They wouldn't give me occupancy to that house because there was a glass block window that was broken. It's on the block that I grew up in Mount Greenwood. That glass block window was broken for 40 years when old man Jermaine was living there, and they wouldn't give my buddy Phil occupancy. But these illegals are in these houses where the soffit's wide open. You can see animals are crawling in and out of there, and they've been granted occupancy. It's a big scam. It's what Jessica Jackson talks about.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for giving us the heads up. I appreciate it, Tom.
My
you take
man.
care of yourself. And that's how you run a not only an incentivized, the created through finance, but a functioning ghetto. Is that all these houses where the owners can't occupy, these are the houses where the gangs and the illegals can. And they have absolute protection from the very government that keeps the owners from it. They have anonymity. Richard, Southside.
Hey, Shawnee, how you doing, buddy?
Good, babe.
Hey, happy Easter, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, all your listeners. Hey, we got an impending emergency going on, Shaun. Archer Avenue, north of 83, was shut down yesterday about a mile in. Road closed, turn around. I mean, they should have that sign out by Archer and Route 83, but they don't. You got to drive a mile back down. So I call the Cook County Highway Department. You get the message machine, says, hey, we're here till 3:30, blah, 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 leave a message. Shaun, the mailbox is full. We got to get the tax dollars in that were due yesterday so they can pay the guy to answer the phone.
I agree. And when you see nobody working, that's the Claude Rains crew. Believe me, they're there. You just don't see them. We'll be back.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands friends get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
For 25 years, Applied Mechanical Sales has kept Chicago's commercial buildings warm and running smoothly. From schools and churches to high-rises and hotels, they provide the boilers, water heaters, and exhaust systems that contractors and engineers count on. Whether it's a replacement project or a new construction, Applied Mechanical helps you select the right equipment, standard or high efficiency, for your specific application. What sets them apart? They match the right Camas equipment to your building's exact needs, so it performs flawlessly through Chicago winters for the next 15 to 20 years. And they don't disappear after installation. Applied Mechanical ensures your systems run at peak efficiency year after year. Are you a degreed mechanical engineer looking to lead a growing sales team? They'd love to talk to you. Schedule a site visit and boiler assessment at appliedmechanicalsales.com. That's appliedmechanicalsales.com.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
This resume is no good. I mean, sure, it's very impressive. My next guest is an American political analyst, a financial strategist, a writer, keynote speaker. Through decades, he has earned a reputation of candor, clarity. He's been on some of the biggest news networks out there. CNBC, Fox News, CNN. He's applied knowledge in both markets and politics. It's all true. This is all true, but it doesn't say anywhere in here he's my friend. It doesn't say anywhere in here I used to fill in for him when this was his time slot. It doesn't say anywhere in here that Steve Cortez is a handsome son of a gun who refuses to wear socks no matter what the temperature is, and now has become a documentarian that is changing the mores of our society. Steve Cortez will join us to discuss about his new mini documentary about our Loyola beautiful freshman who was killed by an illegal alien after Foxweiser.
Seventh in line to the presidency to the unemployment line. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. Attorney General Pam Bondi is out in another cabinet shakeup for President Trump. Let's go to the White House and get more from Fox's Jared Halpern.
President Trump says Pam Bondi will transition to a job in the private sector, and top Justice Department Deputy Todd Blanche will serve as acting Attorney General until a new AG is confirmed. Sources tell Fox News Digital Bondi was fired by the president in an Oval Office meeting Wednesday night. Bondi had accompanied President Trump earlier that day to attend Supreme Court arguments over his executive order on birthright citizenship. The president did not announce a new role for Bondi in the administration, but says in a social media post she is a patriot and loyal friend who faithfully served as Attorney General and did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across the country. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
On Truth Social, President Trump calling Bondi a true American patriot and loyal friend. Movement in the military as well. As Pentagon spokesperson says General Randy George will be retiring from his position as Chief of Staff in the Army. This effective immediately after Secretary of War Pete Hegseth asked him to step down. General George has served in that role since 2023. Iran launching more strikes against Israel today. Fox's Jonathan Hunt reporting from Tel Aviv.
Usually within about 1 minute or so of these sirens going, which confirm that this area is indeed a target of whatever has been launched from Iran, is when we see the incoming missiles and the interceptors going up to try to stop those missiles. Now, we are, of course, still in the middle of the Jewish holiday of Passover here. Yesterday, as that holiday began, we saw scores of launches coming towards Israel, many of them targeting this Tel Aviv area.
America is listening to Fox News.
can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Edens, no troubles. Solid back in 45 minutes. Kennedy crash inbound at Lawrence, hour and 5. The outbound Kennedy exit ramp to northbound Mannheim remains blocked with flooding. 40 minutes, though, out to O'Hare. Eisenhower entrance ramp from Mannheim, that is closed with a jackknife semi. Going outbound on the Eisenhower, 48 minutes. Stevenson inbound, 2 crashes, 1 at LaGrange, 1 at Central. 40 on the inbound side, 52 outbound. Dan Ryan, 31 minutes, downtown to 95th. Solid northbound Tri-State with a crash at Kedzie in the left lane. There are delays either way. Also, Jane Addams westbound crash on the exit ramp to Mannheim. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling.
In a thunderstorm, the low will be 43, but temperatures will rise into the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hello?
Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit.
Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed?
Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers.
What? No computers? I just upgraded everything.
Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No, nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith, doors, and security systems company since 1981.
Some moments deserve more than just a space. They deserve a setting that feels special. At Kemper Lakes Golf Club, they make it easy to gather, celebrate, and enjoy time together. From bridal and baby showers to family celebrations and private events, the team handles every detail so you can focus on what matters most. Warm, inviting, and close to home, it's the perfect place to host your next event. Visit KemperLakesGolf.com to learn more and start planning today.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white,
my next guest, the resume is beyond impressive. It really is. American political analyst, financial strategist, writer, keynote speaker throughout decades, reputation for candor and clarity, senior advisor in the 2016-2020 Trump presidential campaigns. And nowhere does it mention my name, because if mine had a resume, the only reason I have a show, one of the big reasons, is I used to fill in for him. He was heard right here on these airwaves. And when it came time for him to move on, he stuck up for the kid. He said the only way he was going to do it is if I was given the opportunity to have the job, and he put his vote in for me. Handsome without socks, Steve Cortez. What's up, sexy?
That is quite an introduction. It's great to be back on my favorite station with my favorite host.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And you gave me a call over the weekend, and you told me about this documentary. I want to play the clip for the people.
Sheridan Gorman, in this regard, she joins a long line of Americans who have been killed, ruthlessly killed by illegal aliens in totally preventable crimes. It's a tragic sorority of sorts of women who became victimized at the hands of assailants who never belonged in our country and wouldn't be here if it weren't for radical Democrats. I'm talking about people like Kate Steinle, Laken Riley, Sandra Duran, and now Sheridan Gorman.
Why, you racist xenophobe. By the way, Cortez, that's Pennsylvania Dutch, isn't it? You must be one of those xenophobe racists, aren't you?
No. Colombian and Irish and the son of a legal immigrant. So it makes it a little harder for those leftists to tell me I hate immigrants. No, but I do hate dangerous illegal immigrants like Jose Medina, who was a monster, who killed a woman in cold blood at Loyola Beach, a freshman, Sheridan Gorman, doing nothing wrong, doing nothing risky. And by the way, this cretin, this piece of garbage, not only did he commit that despicable act, but folks should know that we were paying for his very existence. The taxpayers of Illinois, through an NGO, were paying his rent up there near the lake in Rogers Park. We were also paying for his medical care because the creep had tuberculosis when he came here, by the way. So we let a guy in who's infectious, who's sick, who's contagious, and dangerous, as far as we know, criminal record in Venezuela, of course, criminally crosses our border, arrested at the border by Biden's people, sent inward, not outward, not expelled, sent inward, arrested again in Chicago for shoplifting. Instead of being turned over to ICE and expelled, is sent back to his apartment we pay for, where he found himself a gun and killed a young American.
Yeah, with all the gun laws in place, too. Boy, that was easy, huh? Well, we call, number one, when it comes to the disease, when America cured it, it was called consumption. And it's what killed Doc Holliday. The ridiculous reality is that we have been reintroduced to these third world ailments, which we've cured hundreds of years ago. And this gets lost in the argument as well. But this phony virtue of the illegal alien, what makes me cringe every time someone says it is, there are 8 pathways to become a citizen. Now, 2 of them are through birth and marriage and relations. But there are 6, of which anybody and 37 million Americans today have already used, called legal immigration. And yet, all the virtue, all the attention, and all of the money goes towards the illegal. So at a certain point, we're the ones who have bribed, paid for, not just the rent of this particular scum lowlife, but of millions and millions and millions, so many so, that the number hasn't changed for 40 years since I was in Melrose Park. The number back then was 12 million, 12 million, 12 million, 12 million. If there are not 40 million, there's not one. And how would you ever know? Because they're the only Americans that get the anonymity I've been dying to get my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, speaking of that, the total number, Yale, which is not exactly a right-wing place, Yale University did a study, their graduate school of business, and they believe there are over 30 million illegals. That was before Biden opened the border, by the way, okay? So before Biden opened the border, they think there were 30 million. If you say roughly 10 million more came in, we're probably right in the neighborhood of what you're talking about, something like 40 million. And by the way, let me also say this. I think America used to do legal immigration really well in the days when my father came, okay? Assimilation was demanded. There was no safety net. That's not true today. So I think even on the legal side, we have a lot of problems with immigration. And then, of course, illegal should be an impossibility. I mean, it should be so rare that it's actually talked about, like, oh, we actually caught one, right? But instead, it's become an accepted everyday occurrence that these illegals compete in the labor market against American workers, depressing wages. Some of them are dangerous and make our streets incredibly unsafe places. And a few of them are outright demons. They're murderers, like Jose Medina.
Well, it's like anything else, right? The first one's always the hardest. I don't care if you punch somebody in the face. It's the hardest when you have the first one you punch in the face. And if you remember The Godfather, the first one you whack. It's always the hardest. So the first law you break is theoretically the hardest, yet this is the one we allow everybody to get away with. You already are here illegally. And instead of any enforcement over the years, and, you know, this thing about legal immigration being onerous, okay, it should be. But the number one thing that it entails is disclosure. And the idea that we wrap a virtue shield around people who refuse to disclose who they are, what their education level, what their criminal record. From that point on, there is no virtue in that story. I see none. Right. The reason you remain illegal, and I used to see this in the old neighborhood, and you see it in stories today. Well, they've been here for 20 years. Well, you mean for 20 years nobody knew who the frack you really are? I mean, It's insane. And you've been procreating? And how many kids do you have? I can't believe a liar. You lie to me, we're done talking. What am I going to believe you? Now you're telling me the truth. You've been lying for 20 years, but now today you tell me the truth? I don't know if you have 1 kid or 6,000. How the hell do I know?
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, also, you're making a great point. How do we know who they are? We take their word for it. So a lot of your listeners probably saw that video I made at the DNC in 2024 in Chicago when I tried to get an illegal alien into the Democratic convention, right, to prove that, hey, they do believe in walls and credentials and barriers and identity, okay, when it matters to them, when they're protecting Kamala. Now, that was also a Venezuelan migrant, just like this Jose Medina scumbag. That was Edwin, the Venezuelan migrant. I don't think he's a scumbag in terms of criminality, other than coming into the country illegally. But, of course, he was also welcomed in by the Biden administration. But anyway, my point is I asked him, do you have ID for when they ask you at the gate? Because they're going to ask you, do you have a Venezuelan ID? Do you have something to show them? He goes, no. He goes, I don't have anything. I said, well, what did you show when you came in? He said, nothing.
Complete anonymity.
Yeah, they said, who are you? He told them, where you're from, Venezuela. They had no idea. Told them how old he is. Now, I basically believed him, but the point is no verification at all. And same thing, that's why I said we don't even know that much about Jose Medina. We know he was shot in the head. He's got a ridiculous dent in his head. Now, I don't know if he was just a victim.
Welcome to socialized medicine, where when you get shot in the head, they just take your skull apart, stitch you up, and send you back on the road.
Yeah, or was he a gangbanger, and got involved in some, terrible stuff down there? Who knows? Point is, we don't know. And the point is, he never should have been allowed into this country for 100 reasons. He was. We taxpayers generously supported him, and he paid us back by murdering a precious young life, a young American, doing nothing wrong, going to school, deeply involved in her campus ministry at Loyola University. By the way, the university, let me say this, since you're a Chicago show, I think the university has acted shamefully. They've done everything they can to try to hide this story. Once they found out that the assailant was an illegal alien, they wanted this story to just go away, right? And they have done very, very little to honor the life of their student who was killed practically on campus, right?
First of all, the Biden regime perpetrated a tremendous amount of financial fraud that benefited a lot of these institutions by giving free tuition, by paying the tuition of illegal aliens in the first place. This is a story that is amazing how many illegal aliens had their tuition paid for. And it reminds me of the driver's license scandal. Now, one of the things about being a parent is dealing with a kid that becomes of age to drive and all of the onerous aggravation and costs, right? You got to teach the kid to get in the car. I'm terrible. By the way, admittedly terrible at that. I don't like being a passenger. If I'm having a heart attack, I drive and I get yelled at by my family in the car. That's how it's going to be. So the idea I got to teach people to drive. I was not good at it. My wife did it and all the rest of it. But what you go through, the schools to teach them how to drive, right? You got to pay the school to come and get the kid, get out. You got to learn how to drive. We're giving millions of driver's license when you add it up. We had 200,000 CDL licenses. Now, like you, I have friends who not always of them, they weren't all choir boys, and some of them went, when they got out, they said, I'm going to be a CDL driver, and they went through classes and money and time to become a CDL, and they take pride in that. American truck drivers are prideful, and rightfully so. They make the economy go around. And you mean we had 200,000 illegal aliens? Now, down in Florida, it's a scandal. Right? You had the guys with the turbans on their head. They killed how many people, and they kill them all the time. That it existed after the 20th century. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that this would even exist? And they're going to run on elections of how virtuous it was to give both driver's license and CDLs to illegal aliens? They should be thrown in prison. This should be, the real criminals are the politicians that enabled the other criminals, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. And exactly. And that's what I tried to expose. By the way, because the media has a near blackout on this story. By the way, I was shocked. Even people in Chicago, Shaun, don't know about this story. I know you're doing your work in telling this terrible tale, but the regular legacy media in Chicago and nationwide is just trying to ignore it, which is why I thought it was important to go there, to show the scene of the crime, and to talk about this young woman, talk about her life, talk about why this happened, and who's responsible besides the killer himself. And you're exactly right. It's Brandon Johnson. It's Pritzker, Newsom, Mayorkas, Biden, Harris. I mean, unfortunately, I can go on and on. And again, these instances are hardly rare. I read just a portion of what I call a tragic sorority, a sad sorority of young women killed, senselessly killed, without provocation, killed by illegal alien monsters. Unfortunately, I could have gone on and on with that list. And my point is, have we had enough? Can we please make Sheridan Gorman the last of this really sad list of young women killed?
There's two things that are a tremendous flaw, and you mentioned one of them. There are still morons in the city that do not know Sheridan Gorman's story. any more than they know Katie Abrams and Katie Abrams' girlfriend, even though they see her father and the tragedy of that story, killed by a drunk driving illegal alien who's had a record as long as your leg. And you see this. So this can only exist when people are morons. And at this stage of the game, in the year 2026, with the municipality scandals, the county scandals, the city collapses from coast to coast in this country, if you are a Democrat today, there are but two categories. You're either an absolute fracking moron or you're a pirate predator in on the scandal. Those are the only two people that make up Democrats. And when you see Republicans have a far harder time. They've got to convince guys like me. I'm not a Republican. I'll vote for individual Republicans, but I'll never vote for a ticket. So when you look around, because this is a big part of your job, you look around and you say, I'm going to figure out how to get certain people elected. When you look at the unmitigated morons that they continue to run, and I say this now, Darren Bailey won the primary without ever debating any of the other guys. Now, I'll argue with all the guys. I'll argue with all of them, including Ted, on certain issues. We'll argue back and forth. The idea that you still have states, in particular the most desperate states, that would have the most incompetent morons as opposition, when you step back and you look at this, how do you see the future of these areas that are already dumb enough to be Democrat-controlled in the first place, dumb enough or crooked enough? You can never turn them around. I don't see any way you're going to turn around any one of them. How do you think?
Yeah. Listen, I wish I could be the voice of optimism on this, but no, I concur with you. And part of the problem, by the way, is that too many reasonable people have left. Okay, I'm one of them, right? I mean, I had enough. 2020 broke me. I decamped to Tennessee and to Red Tennessee. You spent a heck of a lot of time in Florida. So the same people who have options have left, which only makes the situation worse in these, corrupt, awful hellholes that they leave. Unfortunately, let me give you a quick story about that from filming my documentary. So, it's in Rogers Park, probably the most radical neighborhood, in Chicago, maybe one of the most radical neighborhoods in the country politically. While I'm filming, and I'm not bothering anybody, okay, but it's a nice day, crowded beach, crowded park. Once people started hearing, what I was saying into the camera, total harassment. Everybody give me the finger, telling me to F off, telling me, migrants welcome here. I'm like, do you realize that an 18-year-old girl was killed right here days ago? I mean, do you realize that? Does it have to be your daughter or granddaughter before you care? It was all these aging hippies in Rogers Park. But, I mean, they gave me a ton of grief just to give you a glimpse into how insane things are in Chicago. I will tell you, it wouldn't be that way where I'm from in Tennessee. If a young woman was killed, that's all anybody would care about is, holy cow, how did this happen? How do we prevent this from happening again, no matter your politics, right? Because it's a sane, reasonable place. It's like all of America should be, and most of America still is geographically, but not Rogers Park.
And what you're describing is the thing that is incredible when you lived under corruption and stupidity all your life. And I lived it too. And mine was, I legged into it. I'm here full time, but I legged into it. I spent many years going back and forth and back and forth. And I remember telling my family, I was watching the news, and an old man was in a FedEx, and he was trying to get information to send a gift back to his grandson in college. And some degenerate scumbag walks into the FedEx to hold up the FedEx. And the old man pulls out the .38 and shoots him in the temple. And the crowd went wild. Not a defense lawyer, nobody. That was terrible. Someone should arrest the old man. Someone should do that. They cheered the old man. And I watch now, as I pick the area to live in, how police pull over anybody they even suspect of being a scumbag. You get yanked over immediately. You got the loud music, whatever the case is, come here, you. And you see the difference in the approach of criminals and scum. We lived our whole life with our neighborhood enforcing it. We lived our whole life where you hoped there was somebody else that would enforce it. But to see law be enforced, I don't think you can ever go back to a lawless area. You can never go back to it. And the people who wallow in it and who support it, who are giving you the finger, I see it down here because they come and visit. You could see it on their face what their ideology is. All of the Democrats hate themselves. To subscribe to socialism or communism or Democrat policies, you must first hate yourself the most. And they walk around with that scowl. And the hardest thing to get used to when you live with decent people is everybody says hello. Everybody's friendly. Hi, how are you? You don't have to know anybody. You walk on the beach and me, I always have the cigar. Hi, how are you? And I could always tell I had a Democrat big fat woman with her sissy husband walking 10 feet behind her like a Chinese housewife. And I'm smoking the cigar. She's all pasty ass white with the big size XXL shorts. And she goes, it stinks. I said, I know. I could smell it from here. Go in the ocean and wash it off. The fish are used to it. Shut your mouth. And her husband looked at me like in shock and awe. That's what you get for talking to strangers. So it's time to stand up for yourself. So I'm wondering, did you get in a fight because you don't wear socks and your feet will slip in a fight? Are you okay?
You know I'm a gentleman. No, I did not get in a fight. I wanted to just film and get out of there. And thankfully, too, I did have an ex-cop. He was my second choice of interview. John Garrido, he's amazing in the documentary, but he was my second choice because my first choice was you, as you well know. I wanted to interview you, but you were sunning your private parts down in Florida,
yes,
as you want to do.
Yelling at Democrats. Yeah.
But I want the audience to know my first choice for this doc was none other than this host, Shaun Thompson.
Thank you
but
very
it was
much.
otherwise engaged. So no, I didn't want to engage too much with the hoi polloi and the blue hair hippies there in Rogers Park. But I think it's telling, though, that, by the time I left, there was really kind of they weren't scary because they're so weak and old and weazened. But it was kind of a mob, telling me to get the hell out of there, not welcome there, and migrants are. Wow. That's your reaction to an 18-year-old being killed?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, you're lucky it wasn't me there because that whole story goes a totally different way, and there's a different kind of promotion for your video. But Garrido's a good guy. If I can remember correctly, isn't he the guy with the dogs? He gave
exactly.
The right guy?
Varian Animal Rescue, exactly. Yeah.
And he gave Proft, his dog Hayek, which I raised. I don't give a rip what he says. That dog lived with me and my family for the early part of his life, which is why he listened somewhat. Once Proft got him, he gained 30 pounds. It was like the women he dates. Gained 30 pounds. He looked terrible at the end. So does Garrido know the whole story?
I don't know that he does. We're going to have to tell him. We'll get him on your show. Talk about it in front of the audience, right?
Well,
no, he was great, by the way, just talking about the frustrations of actual cops. And, of course, I don't blame, the beat cops for this, right? This is not their fault. This is leadership in the police department, the political leadership of Chicago, of Illinois. But he told a terrible story on camera. The folks can see it. Go to CortezInvestigates.com. Cortez with an S at the end, investigates.com, and you can see it right there in documentaries. But he tells a terrible story about a guy he arrested for child luring, okay? So for trying to get a child to be molested, basically. Thankfully, didn't succeed, okay? But the guy had an ice bracelet or ankle bracelet on. So it's like we didn't have to guess, is he illegal, okay? He's got the ankle bracelet on. They didn't turn him over to ICE. Guess what he does? He gets out, murders somebody. All right, this is the practical application of this radical lunacy of open borders. People like John hate it because his job is to protect the public.
When you and I first met, you invited me out to your house, and I went and met your beautiful family and your friends, and you were in a great spot. And I remember having a conversation. Now, this is many years ago now. This is when we first met. And, I would say, well, have you thought about moving? And you were a dead no. I'm going to do it. I'm going to raise the kids because you, like me and like everybody, you love the memory of Chicago and what it used to be. Yeah. And I get that in my own family. I argue back and forth with a lot of people I love. And I tell them, you're not going to know until you know. And no matter, where you go, if you set up roots, it's almost exciting at a certain stage of your life. I liked the way it went when I was a little older and the rest of it. And you did it when you were a little older and your kids were a little older and your wife and everybody. Yeah. I want to ask you now, because it's been a couple years. Yeah. Have you ever looked back and said, I made a mistake?
Oh, my gosh, no. Heck no. And this, the people are wonderful in Tennessee. The mountains are beautiful. Things are cheap. And the culture is great. And experiences like this. And I still get back to Chicago a lot. Still love it. It will always be home. I have a lot of friends and family I care deeply about. 88-year-old mother I visit all the time. But experiences like this just reinforced to me, like, wow, it was the right call. Should have gone earlier. For me, the break moment, you ask people, like, when did you decide? It was watching my son play basketball, having to wear a mask. By the way, in 2021, the initial panic was long over, but because of Pritzker, because of Lightfoot, all the morons, playing basketball, right, the most cardio-intensive sport there is with masks on, the most cruel and unscientific thing you could possibly do. And I just said, this is child abuse. We can't do it anymore. We're out. And that was our moment.
Mine was when you first start to make money, and you have to stroke that check. And I remember thinking to myself, what did I do wrong? I just made money. And then you look into what your taxes are supposed to go for, right? And your taxes to the federal government, your taxes to the state government, your property taxes. I don't think they deliver one. And in these Democrat mafia areas, what the hell am I paying for? What can you do? What can you do? You can do nothing right. Nothing. So that's the breaking moment, I think, is when you first start to pay taxes and you first start to realize you're getting robbed. But in either case, I cannot thank you enough for all that you have done for me and all you continue to do for everybody. I love the fact that you've created this Cortez Investigates. I think it's fantastic. And I know you do these documentaries. How many more you got in the hopper? Because the information is out there everywhere, except for the good run areas. So all you have to do is call somebody in a Democrat area. What have you been a victim of lately? So is this how you get your information at CortezInvestigates.com?
Yeah, partly. Yeah, no, and I've got a lot coming up. Actually, you'll love the next one because it's about Miami. And I spent a lot of time in Miami. I'm actually in Miami right now for Easter weekend with my kids. And Miami, to me, is the best functioning big city in America. Does a lot of things right that Chicago does wrong. And I wanted to highlight what is it. And by the way, to your point earlier, it's mostly law enforcement. It's mostly respect for law enforcement. Miami, for a big city, it has problems, of course, like any big city. But for a big city, in general, they have respect for cops. Even Democrat lawmakers have respect for cops. Regular citizens do. And in general, there is a culture here of supporting law enforcement that is incredibly different. So that's actually it's called the Miami model. I'll be out with this in the next couple of weeks, but that's on deck. But I wanted to rush this one out first because I just think it's so important to honor her life, Sheridan Gorman. People need to know her name and to expose what happened here and why. And let's not let the media bury this story because it's just too important.
Now, keep an eye on Miami for me because they had a big defeat. The Cubans and the good people of Miami lost to the moron Democrat, and the election was really quite close and insanely low participation. So keep an eye on it. Now, I'm going to help you because I know you go around and all this. In the Art Deco district, there is an Italian restaurant named Propaganda. You go in there, you tell the guy we're friends. I'm telling you, out of this world. I don't like Miami, but I will go there for just that restaurant. So go there and... If I was really generous, I would call and pay for your tab, but I'm not doing that because we didn't negotiate a good contract when we did this. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for helping me with everything, and thank you for still helping everybody at CortezInvestigates.com. Thanks, brother.
You bet. Happy Easter.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Anthony and John here from Bionic Auto Parts, proud clients of Signature Bank. We deliver high-quality, recycled, and remanufactured auto parts to Chicago and Milwaukee. Our mission is simple: provide parts safely, reliably, with great customer satisfaction.
We process over 350 vehicles a month. With big banks, everything took forever. Layers of approvals and endless delays. At Signature Bank, one call got it done. Whether it's lending, deposits, or treasury management, they deliver fast. Signature Bank made us feel like family. That's a partnership we deeply appreciate.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Don't get stuck with the cold shower this winter. Give CenterGuard Plumbing a call. Get a new 40-gallon water heater installed for just $1,195 for standard installation, or a 50-gallon heater for $1,295 standard installation. A proud new sponsor of AM 560, CenterGuard is offering specials on new water heaters. Old man winter is here. Don't get stuck in the cold, and the same can happen to your water heater. If you're having hot water issues or your water heater's over 8 years old, take advantage of this winter special today. CenterGuard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. They'll even haul away your old one, no charge. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive winter special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit CenterGuardPlumbing.com.
What happens when a school is truly built around teenage girls? Their growth, their confidence, their faith, their future? You get bold young women who lead without hesitation, speak without fear, and discover exactly who they're meant to be. Rosary College Prep in Aurora is the only all-girls college prep high school in the western suburbs, and we've been doing this since 1962. We know how girls learn best. That's why our students thrive in STEM, the arts, and leadership at remarkable rates, even earning AP Platinum status from the College Board. At Rosary, your daughter won't just be educated. She'll be seen, challenged, and supported every single day. Girls here collaborate, inspire each other, and grow grounded in faith and driven by purpose. Come see it for yourself. Schedule a personal tour at rosaryprep.org. That's rosaryprep.org.
1-2-642-5600. When we get back, I'll take your calls and comments. That'll be after news with Patrick Johnson.
Thanks a lot, Shaun. 64 degrees in Chicago, the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560, The Answer. President Trump to sign an executive order to pay all Homeland Security employees as the partial government shutdown drags on. This comes after House Speaker Mike Johnson said Republicans will pass the Senate bill that funds DHS minus ICE and Customs and Border Protection. The president also saying Americans paying more at the pump is due to the actions of Iran. Trump giving a primetime address Wednesday where he said the recent increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers. Trump claiming that the war with Iran will be over shortly.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages.
As many Illinois universities are facing multi-million-dollar budget deficits, state senators were critical of spending by the University of Illinois system.
Senators questioned Tim Kaline, president of the U of I system, regarding his request of $746 million for the coming year's budget. Senator Chapin Rose was critical of Kaline's oversight of the Discovery Partners Institute, saying it wasted tens of millions in taxpayer dollars developing a South Chicago Loop property known as the 78.
You spend 5 years on a building that you walked away from. So last year you said you were accountable. Now you're saying there's no waste?
Kaline defended the spending, saying other parts of the program have brought money back into the university through research grants. I'm Shaun Reed.
This report is a service of Think It Up. Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Well, join at thinkitup.org. On AM 560, let's head to the traffic center, get an update on the roads with Jill Urchat.
On the Kennedy going out, it's a 35-minute trip out to O'Hare with a disabled car on the exit ramp to North Avenue. Also inbound Kennedy, a crash at Lawrence in the right lane. On the Eisenhower in, the entrance ramp from Mannheim still closed with the jackknife semi, 50 minutes going in, 40 outbound. Stevenson crash in at Central, 45 in, and 50 back out to 355. Outbound Ryan, 25 minutes. We have delays still along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. And the Tri-State is busy both directions. Southbound crash on the exit ramp to Ogden Avenue. Westbound Jane Addams, an accident on the off-ramp to Meacham. And 355 looks pretty good. Traffic is a service of American Beam and Steel, structural repair licensed contractors for your home and business. Search for American Beam and Steel online to schedule your consultation directly with the owner, Mark. American Beam and Steel. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchat.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low of 47. On Friday, expect a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a shower in some areas later in the afternoon. The high will reach 59 degrees. Friday night will not be as cold with periods of rain and a thunderstorm. The low will be 43, but temperatures will rise into the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio every Sunday morning at 9. Sponsored in part by JeffBuysYourHouse.com and by Center Guard Plumbing. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about your home improvement. Right here on AM 560, The Answer.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE, 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old phonographs or music boxes? We are the experts. Consign yours. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Reach out, touch faith.
So I have a text message that I just got in about somebody in Illinois, and they're talking about a landlord that had said to them, we're going to raise the rent, and they can't afford it. I was talking to them, and they were asking me what they should do if they should go rent somewhere. And my answer is, depending on where you live, is the answer to that question. If you're living in a Democrat area that does not have an ad valorem system of taxation, you cannot keep up with the cost of corruption in Democrat areas. You can't do it. But if you live in other areas, it's a totally different approach to government spending and to the cost of living.
The state CFO, Blaise Ngoli, is continuing his push to audit local governments, and today he's calling out Citrus County for what he says is millions in wasteful spending. News Channel 8's Capitol Bureau reporter Mackenzie Laporte has those numbers from Tallahassee.
Over the past year, the CFO has been actively auditing local government, shining a spotlight on cities and counties for what he says is overtaxing residents. All of this as property tax reform looms large here at the Capitol. The CFO.
So now you understand the difference. The CFO of the state of Florida goes after communities that overtax their citizens. There is a push now in Tallahassee to freeze taxes, go back to the time you purchased homes if you are a resident. If that's 20 years ago, go back to that. That's what you pay. So think what that does for landlords. Landlords will not have to raise your rent. Whether you're renting or whether you're buying, there are things you need to know about area specific. But one thing you need to know, and listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I use David Hochberg. I use him. He does my stuff. He did my things. He does my stuff for my friends and my family. But more importantly, if you're renting, we have somebody in the Rumble chat that said this the other day. It's been haunting me. you may have options you're unaware of. When it comes to making a decision, you need to talk to somebody who understands what goes into that decision. You may have more debt on credit cards than you should have. You may have an opportunity to eliminate that, improve your credit, and you may be able to purchase something somewhere else. And I'm going to give the number for David. I know it's a regular segment, but I don't care. 855-563-2843 is David's number. Call him if you're thinking about selling, if you're thinking about buying, if you have a mortgage where you have equity, but you have credit cards where you have tremendous debt. David, this is what he does. It's more than just mortgage services. It's credit consultation. It's hooking you up with the right people. He knows far more realtors in Illinois than I know. He knows realtors all over the country. He's licensed all over the country. Give him a call at 855-563-2843 or online at 56david.com. And I guess now it is kind of a commercial. So NMLS number 613114. I'm serious. Know what is happening. Speed, debt, drugs, it'll all kill you. Get it under control. Mike, Yorkville.
Oh, good evening, Shaun. And I want to wish you a happy Easter because most likely I'm going to be out of town tomorrow and I will be missing your show.
Oh, there's no excuses now. Go to 560theanswer.com or go anywhere. You can find it, but go ahead.
I know. I set you up for that one. Good job. Anyways, thank you for proving my point, and this isn't what I called about taxes on houses. They're illegal. Should never happen. If you want to tax it, you tax it. When you purchase it, no annual taxes. End of story. But I digress. I'll go to the next part. What I was talking about was Pam Bondi. My disappointment is she wasn't fired earlier, but the biggest disappointment is most likely going to be the replacement. If it's not Matt Gaetz, I don't even understand where we're going with this. If we're looking to go ahead and get fraudsters prosecuted, Epstein file, pedos arrested and prosecuted, I don't care. That's what's needing to happen. We got to have a bulldog. If we don't have a bulldog, forget it. You might as well cough it up. Midterms will be here. Trump could get replaced. And the next thing you know, we're going through basically the whole cycle of Biden all over again.
Well,
and maybe worse.
It's like bankruptcy, right? Bad gets worse, and people who want to change the cycle get better. I'm very excited about some of the things I see happening in California. Between this Bianco seizing 500,000, 600,000 ballots, and you're gonna now there'll be talk to invalidate even the people who won the primaries. So there's so many things that go on, but these fiefdoms that are called Democrat areas, they have insulated themselves from reality. So whoever it is, it's going to have to be somebody who can articulate the fact, look, in Minnesota, there are layers of protection that we cannot prosecute. So now we're going to have to charge these people who have been tried and convicted by juries but released by judges. Now we're going to go after them federally. So as long as you can do that and explain to the people, there are areas where there are no laws of right and wrong. There are laws of clout and corruption. So that's what you have to do.
Absolutely. Shaun, and I want to bring up one other quick thing. I don't even know if the news cycle hit it, but I don't know if you're familiar with David DeLeiden. He was the one that was prosecuted by hands and knees, Camilla Harris, years ago.
Yes.
When she was for a First Amendment issue. And his case was finally dismissed today because of those types of right deprivations that the Democrats do all day long.
So you're talking lawfare. It's very interesting what you're talking about, and I'm going to tell you why. During Trump's first term, and this is when the people in the know knew Barack Obama directed Comey to not only cover up for Hillary Clinton's emails that were leaked on WikiLeaks, but to hide the fact that it was Barack Obama who misappropriated, lied to FISA court judges and the rest of it to surveil Donald Trump. And then what happens right after he gets sworn in? I don't know if you heard that.
If the president is doing something good for the American people, good. He's the president. We shouldn't want a president to fail. But unfortunately, this president spends his time going after his perceived opponents, trying to get retribution for things in the past. That is the reason that I end up speaking out the way I do.
The people in this administration who've broken the law and federal agents who've broken the law need to be held accountable.
That's now new, right? So it's the same thing over and over. Now I want you to hear what is common practice among Democrats and corrupt money bundlers. Now, if you know anything about Frank Dodd and you know Chris Dodd's legacy and Joe Biden, who was Chris Dodd's wheelman, they were getting sweetheart deals from the 80s, from the 90s, from Countrywide and other crooked mortgage lenders, okay? This is commonplace. That's how they all buy property. None of them buy it as a second residence. They all put primary residence. Well, that is mortgage fraud. So first there's this.
Breaking just moments ago, Fox can now confirm that California Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell has been criminally referred to the Department of Justice accused of mortgage fraud. Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey reporting live on this breaking news on Eric Swalwell from the North Lawn. Hey, Peter.
Martha, as I was walking up here to do a hit on a different topic, I got a call from an administration official filling us in that Eric Swalwell, the Democratic California congressman, has indeed been referred to the Justice Department by Bill Pulte, who is the head of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now.
He has all the mortgage docs. He sees right out in the open, how did you apply for the mortgage? Now, we know Letitia frauded the VA, said her father was her husband, frauded the amount of units versus commercial versus residential. We have numerous cases where you have California, Illinois, New York Democrats that have lied on mortgage applications. You have Adam, the chicken neck, who now is a senator. He won, and it was all embroiled in a scandal. So what happens? Go on the offensive. The accusation is the practice.
Just went on MSNBC and is now threatening Trump officials. Watch.
When we're in the majority, we will have subpoena power and accountability will happen. So Bill Pulte and any other lawless official who is carrying out these political prosecutions on behalf of Donald Trump, they should familiarize themselves with the Judiciary Committee room, because they're going to be spending a lot of time there answering questions. And
they're better at lawfare. They get away with it. Eric Swalwell sat on the Intelligence Committee as a congressman and was banging Fang Fang, a Chinese spy who looked like a rake. And he went up before all the committee hearings, and what happened? Guts on ghoul. Nothing. He got away with it. And now he's running for governor, and he's threatening Trump officials right now in real time.
I hope everything they did was above board.
They mean to respond to this if they win the House. Your sense about whether...
That's why you're going to go for elections in fiefdoms like Minnesota, California, Illinois, New York, where they've been stealing elections for 100 years and you're used to it. The talk should shift from midterms to secession. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Platform safety is critical at your commercial and industrial facility. Keeping people safe and meeting OSHA requirements isn't optional. That's why Vans Industrial offers free platform inspections by professional structural engineers who know exactly what to look for. Problems with platforms, ladders, or stairs can lead to costly fines or worse. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to protect people in your facility.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. With decades of experience, I bring long-standing industry knowledge from inspecting, correcting, and replacing countless platforms to make facilities safer. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor equipped to modify or replace steel catwalks, handrails, stairways, and ladders. Our union building trades professionals fabricate and install high-quality steel systems that create safer work environments.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free platform inspection by professional structural engineers. See what else we can do for you. Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANSindustrial.com.
If your investments are in a 401k or an IRA, then listen carefully. You spent 30, maybe 40 years building your retirement. The question is, are you about to watch it take a hit you can't recover from? Military escalation in Iran Tariffs in legal chaos. The U.S. dollar under pressure it hasn't seen in years. History is clear. When this much uncertainty hits at once, the investors who moved into gold and silver first came out ahead. Right now, Advantage Gold is offering a free gold investment kit and a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's powerful new book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Thousands of Americans have already rolled over a portion of their 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver, completely tax and penalty free through Advantage Gold. Don't wait for the next surge to wish you had moved sooner. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
AM 560. The Answer.
Todd Blanche is who is running the DOJ now. He's a former prosecutor, the Southern District of New York, which I guess had a good reputation before the Democrats destroyed that, like they did everything else. So let's be optimistic. Owen, Willowbrook.
Hi, Shaun. How you doing? You know, I like Lee Zeldin, but coming from Congress, I don't like the fact that he had a relationship with all these guys. I would have really liked to see Mike Davis appointed. Mike Davis is a bulldog. He knows the election was stolen. He's a Trump supporter, and he knows what all these deep staters are.
You know what? You know what's got everybody so nervous is that pretty much everybody Trump brought to the arena knows that the 2020 election was stolen. And I'm going to tell you something. We can never let go of that. Never let go of the fact that they open and notoriously frauded and stole the election of 2020, Owen. I'm going to prove it. We've never given that up here. You know that. This show has never given that up.
Yeah, well, I just think he would have been a bulldog and really would have gone after all these people. And
yeah, but you got to remember too, this guy also cut his teeth. He was Trump's attorney in the midst of all of that. So let's be optimistic. He's been a victim of this. Thank you very much for the call, Owen. 2020 Michigan. Let's review, shall we?
If these ballots were run through multiple times, as you've alleged, I think you said possibly up to 30,000 times, definitely thousands of times being counted. When we examine the poll book and see who voted, and we count those numbers,
yes,
would they then not line up with the total number of votes coming out of Detroit?
Just later. The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off by 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
Silenced for years. What are you, crazy? They didn't steal the election. John, Lake Como, Wisconsin.
Hey, Shaun, there's two kinds of people that don't think we've been to the moon. They're either stupid or they crave attention. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.
So you think they went to the moon? We went to the moon. All right. You probably believe
Another
this.
development on Saturday, New York officials revealed at a news conference here in the city that a hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site, if you can believe that. No other details were given.
I don't believe that either. I don't believe it. I think, therefore, I am. Who are the scoundrels? What was the year? And what was the story? They were on the moon. We were flying around it. And then I didn't see any gas tanks, but somehow they took off from the moon. And then we, like a Flash Gordon movie, we grabbed them from space. We brought them back. It's an incredible story. All right. You want to believe it? I'm in. And every launch is like a TV show.
This would have been used in an emergency if after launch during ascent, the rocket had gone out of control and started heading towards a populated area. Engineers on the ground can send a signal that causes the rocket to self-destruct. It's for public safety. Well, they had a communications problem with that, but they were able to find a workaround. They resolved that. And then there were several other issues that they...
It's all very exciting, and some of it may be true. Who knows? One thing I know is this clip didn't get out, and this was released on the same day.
Former colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were enforced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
All right. I mean, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how you react to that, because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
So wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious.
Okay.
I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, 2 weeks ago, and it would have set the earth off.
That's a bigger story than the $200 billion drive-by. We'll be back in 21.
Principled voices are shaping today's conversation. Scott Jennings brings clarity to the toughest debates. Josh Hammer's blistering comment